Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me? I will wait until you answer me in chat. Hey, everybody can hear me. All right. I didn't break anything. That's amazing, right? Thank you for the congrats on 51,000 subs. It feels like an accomplishment, but I'd like to get to 100, so we're going to have to work at it. How is everyone tonight? Big Friday night here in Florida. Let's see who we got here. We got a lot of people here. Man, 73 viewers. Feel like you guys like me or something. Does everything sound okay? Look okay? All that? Oh, hang on. I have a little feedback here. And unplug something. Jacques, good to see you, man. How are you doing tonight? All right. I like it. Is this like late night for you? You can see my face. Well, apologies for that, John G, because no one really wants to see my face that much. I am playing around with the camera and the setup. I'm trying to learn to look more into the camera while keeping the chat where I can sort of see it kind of to the side of the screen, but it's a skill I do not possess because I keep a teleprompter right in front of my face all the time. Hey, Zach. This is my pal, Zach P. Say hello to Zach, everyone. Zach and I have known each other for a very, very long time online, but have never spent time together in person, but a great friend. Sup from the Bay State. Well, hello from Florida, another Bay State. Needs more Hulk Hogan. And what doesn't need more Hulk Hogan at this point? Weird thing, I was like watching Jim Cornette the other day talking about his podcast, All the Lies Hulk Hogan has told over the years, and it was actually pretty hilarious. Lance Chafin, thank you for the super chat, super sticker. I don't know the terminology of these things. I'm an idiot. Skrillbo, hello. I cry for help and God won't answer, says hello to Zach. See, that's nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. So what's everybody doing on Friday night? Like, I'm home and I'm like taking it easy. I just finished a new script. You guys want to play a little game? We can play a little game here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to tease you because you're here early, like not next week's movie, but the week after. Can you guess what it is from this slight, tiny little cover reveal? Let's see. I don't have any prizes, but if you can guess, you'll have my like undying respect. Oh, look. Oh, look. Can you guess what that is from that? Can you guess? Anyone? Anyone? Suicide dolls. Yeah, I'd like to not get banned. Yeah, I think my days of Tamakichi and Aru films are on YouTube are probably done. Piranha 2 is a good guess. It's not correct. Oh, did somebody get it? Oh, Shocker 74. He got it. He got it. And Soldier Samurai also got it. He got it by the alternate title, which is very impressive. Piranha was a good guess, but not quite. Matt Harney, Ghost House. Matt, you're going to be really excited this week. It's not Ghost House, but it's like ancillary to Ghost House. You're going to be thrilled. I thought of you when I picked it. Upside Down or Tales from the Dark Side. Yes. The Shark That Ate Manhattan. That would be a good one. I'd watch that. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Beyond the Darkness. I already did that one. I can't do that again. Chud. Humanoids from the Deep I would like to do. I don't know. Like, I have not watched Humanoids in the Deep in a long time, so I'm not sure how much. I don't remember. Like, I seem to recall there was a lot of nudity in that movie. So, editing nightmare. Ghost House 2. Well, technically, yes. Actually, that you say Ghost House 2, that's technically yes. I don't know if Matt will guess it from that or not, but he might. Do I review only horror, TX Chicano? No. I mean, on the channel, mostly horror because I'm the horror geek, but I have, during my career, done a whole bunch of different stuff. So yeah, I would like to do more things sort of on the show sometimes, but the problem with that is the algorithm does not like when you go beyond what it understands you to be. So it understands that I do sick flicks and I am a horror film content creator. Therefore, the algorithm doesn't know what to do if I were to say do like a kung fu movie or some other type of film. So they sort of punish me for that by not showing the video to a lot of people or putting it out in a lot of different places. And then I end up like, then it punishes me in my next videos because they don't show them to people. So you kind of have to be careful with that. I saw The Devil is one we talked about last time. I would like to do I Saw the Devil, and I could do I Saw the Devil. The bigger problem with I Saw the Devil for me is it's like 2.5 hours long, and like a 90-minute movie, I can't get out in under, a 20-minute video anymore because I'm so full of myself and think every joke is hilarious and I can't cut anything. So, so a 2.5 hour movie, I'm afraid, would be like 14 hours long, the video. So I don't want to subject anyone to that. So yes, the algorithm rules our lives. It rules mine, unfortunately. I'm not a fan, but yeah, it's not my favorite thing. Thoughts about the new Matrix trailer? Yeah, it's a Matrix movie. I'm glad people are excited about it. I have not gotten over the Matrix sequels, so I'm not sure I'm ready to forgive the Wachowskis for that yet. But yeah, I'm sure I'll check it out. I still think Existenz is a better Matrix kind of movie than the Matrix sequels were. So big money hustlers. Yeah, we need some of that on the channel for sure. So a Serbian film. Yeah. Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, it would be a good one for my channel, except that YouTube will demonetize me over it. That's one that I had planned to do, and then YouTube went crazy this year. And when they went crazy, I bought the Blu-ray. Everything was all set up to do it. I wasn't even sure how I was going to make it work under the old YouTube standards. My thought was I have never told anyone this. Well, a couple people like Matt Harney, I think I told this. We had talked about getting him to do it with where we would act out the controversial scenes with action figure stop motion animation. So maybe they wouldn't demonetize me, but that was going to be a lot of work. And now I think they'd demonetize me anyway. And I couldn't put the audio over it because you'd lose the subtitles. So In the Mouth of Madness. Yes, I love In the Mouth of Madness. That's part of why we did Dark Water this week, because I wanted to do a Lovecraftian thing that wasn't In the Mouth of Madness, but was close. Although how close is up for debate. Tokyo, thank you so much for the super chat. I would love to see you review Dolls. Well, that's definitely on the list. That's one of those ones that like it's on the list and I don't know when I'll get to it, but it's on there, and like things shift a lot with me. Like one week I've got like 6 weeks of reviews planned out, and then like a video doesn't do well, and then suddenly it's like, oh, well, I'm going to change everything. So Dolls could just like hop in there at some point when something else doesn't work. Matt says he's still behind that. Yeah. It's a great idea. I mean, that or puppets. Could you imagine doing a Serbian film review where all those scenes were recreations with like Ashy Slashy puppet and other random puppets from around the house? That would be so weird, but so cool. And now I'm tempted to do it. Grotesque. Yes, I love Grotesque. I'm sorry, the chat is very fast and I'm trying to keep up. Grotesque is I like Grotesque. I don't love it. I shouldn't say I love it because it's good. The problem is that DVD is like out of print. The Blu-ray is out of print and it's very pricey. And I almost had a copy last year, and Cinema's Underbelly actually bought it. He beat me to it. And if you've never watched Cinema's Underbelly's channel, you should go check him out. He covers like some really extreme, way out there stuff that I'm like, he doesn't show a lot of footage and he's not monetized. So he gets away with a lot more because he doesn't care about being monetized. So if you have that urge to see some really messed up stuff, go check out his channel and subscribe and tell him I sent you. A Little Voice. Thank you for doing The Video Dead. You know, the funny story about The Video Dead is like, that was a movie that I loved. I caught it like at 2:00 in the morning on cable as a teenager. I watched it. I got up the next day. I couldn't figure out what it was. I came in the middle of it. I spent years trying to figure out what that movie was. Had no idea. Could never find it. Started to think I just dreamt it, which was awesome. But, but I finally found it years later, and I needed something to do last month that was kind of different from all the Italian stuff. I've been on kind of an Italian kick. I wanted to mix it up. Seemed like the perfect time to do it. One of my friends is a big fan and who watches the show, and I wanted to do it for him. So I did it for him. And it turned out to be a very popular video, so I'm very happy about that. I'm glad so many of you liked the video dead. Oh, I missed super chat. Justin, thank you for that. For all the for all the wrestling references. Yeah, it's I love the wrestling references. I have not watched pro wrestling since probably the late in the Attitude Era at the end of the end of WCW with the NWO stuff. Modern wrestling, just I don't know, there's just something about it that doesn't work for me, but that 80s stuff that I grew up with is magical, and I will reference it anytime I can. So you got Kevin Sullivan and the Purple Haze this week. I mean, what other non-wrestling channel on YouTube is going to talk about Kevin Sullivan and the Purple Haze, right? Me. Zach P, you can give me a copy of Grotesque. Yeah, I might take you up on that at some point. I don't know if I can do it. Like I know Spooky Rice and them have done it and gotten them, but I don't think he got away with doing it and keeping his monetization. But I might try. I'm up for trying. So you should review Ernest Scared Stupid, please. I don't even know what to say about that. How about Ricky O? Ricky O has been on the list for a long time. I suspect it will happen next year. Reels and Riffs. So thank you for that super chat. And thank you for asking about Ricky O. That's one of the ones that gets requested a lot. And I love it. And I've loved it for, 20 years, 30 years now. It came out in like 1991 or something. So it's been forever. But yeah, the thing about that one is sometimes I get scared when you guys request something a lot, because when I do something a lot of people, like the hardcore viewers of the channel, request, I kind of end up with like they don't do well. Like you guys, I love you guys and I love to do the movies you want to do, but sometimes you guys like things that for some reason are so niche or different that the mass audiences don't watch them. But I'll still do it. Like, and sometimes the stuff that's too popular is too mainstream for people. Like I think there's a chunk of my audience who comes for just weird stuff, sort of off the beaten path. So, but Ricky O is kind of off the beaten path. Spookies is pretty weird, and I had thought about doing it, and then Joe Bob did it, and kind of once Joe Bob does something, I got to give it like a year before I do it, like after the Things incident. So the Greasy Strangler, I have still not seen the Greasy Strangler, guys. I don't know why. I just haven't. That's why you're afraid to do Ghost House. Yes, it's too popular. There are too many people asking me to do Ghost House. Honestly, part of the fear of Ghost House is the whole thing that Riff Tracks had done it, and it's a popular Riff Tracks thing, and I have not seen their riff on it, but I don't want to overlap, and I know a lot of other channels have done it, so I kind of feel like, oh my god, I'm going to end up like writing a bunch of jokes, and then I'm going to be afraid that the jokes are too similar to jokes someone else did. And I don't want to be like, oh, you're out there stealing jokes. Like someone once, because there was a joke I had in common with another video I'd never seen, was like, oh, it's nice you're stealing jokes. And it's like, yeah, okay. These jokes are so blazingly original that, that person was the only one who ever thought of it. So, rant over. Chris Galloway is here. Sorry again for Things. No, Things is great. Like Things was like one of those ones where we did it, and then that unfortunate event with Joe Bob doing it the exact same night happened, and it didn't do very well out of the gate, and it's found like its footing in the months since. So I'm glad we did it. Let's get physical media. Please review all the Olsen twin movies. Well, I can think of nothing scarier than that, so that's a maybe, right? Can you review a movie called Superstition from 1982? I have not seen Superstition. I think I saw it like way back in the day. So yeah, that's a maybe. Certainly something I'm up for looking at. So, you ever watch Decker Shadow? Yes, I have watched Decker. I try to be familiar with like everybody in the space. So, I like Brandon and Brad, the Cinema Snob, and I have been friends long before I had a YouTube channel. James and at Dead Meat and I have talked a couple times, like when I was starting out type thing. So, I try to pay attention to the guys in the space. Stitch Together Picks is really funny. Like, I like all those guys, but I try not to watch their stuff if it's something I'm going to like maybe do sometime in the like close to them doing it, because I don't want anything to be too similar. Right. So Snowtown Murders. Yeah, that's a dark film. And so what we have learned in the last month from Angst and Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer and Martyrs is that dark films don't do very well on the channel lately. So I would love to do it, and I still might. And it was part of a thing I had kind of set up where I was going to do a list video about disturbing films based on true crimes, where the sort of the angle of it was it's not like every other video of this kind you see on YouTube, where it's like The Exorcist and The Conjuring. It's like the same 10 movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I had scripted and found out, some stuff that's pretty not on the mainstream path. Snowtown was probably one of the most mainstream on the list, but that video is sort of like in limbo right now because that stuff's just not doing well on the channel, and it's tough. So I don't like to make a video and have it not do well is one thing, but to like make it after I know the trend is that certain things aren't doing well is like it's a lot of work to make a video is not going to do well. So Henry Escat, Shogun Assassin. Yes. Funny story. I love Lone Wolf and Cub. Love it. Huge fan. Who would you say is your all-time favorite rapper underground? Ooh, this is a tough one. Depends what we're determining as underground, because sometimes people think things are underground that I think are like more mainstream. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to clarify what we're thinking of as underground there. Paul Quigley, thank you for the super chat, man. How are you tonight? You hanging in there? Good Friday, good weekend? Getting ready for it? What else have we got here? Did you oh, that's for the big one. That's not for me. Ask him. Yes. Did he already review The Ritual? I still haven't even watched The Ritual, although I read the novel a couple years ago. Jamie Bridges, thank you. I'm glad you like the channel. Best horror video game. If we're being liberal with the horror designation, my favorite is Bloodborne. That I love Bloodborne. I wish we get Bloodborne too. Let's see. Yes, I played Bloodstain. I did mention that on Twitter. I liked it. I love Castlevania, so Bloodstained was right up my proverbial video game alley. So Jamie Bridges, yes, I actually did a review of Ichi the Killer here on the channel. It's in the backlog. I think they age gated me on it like 6 months after it came out for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, that's one of those YouTube things. So Graham McKay, thank you. Have you ever Return of the Exorcist? Yes. So yeah, I have all these ideas for these sort of like theme episodes type thing, but I never do them like, like James at Dead Meat is redoing all the Friday the 13th right now. And so like, that's really cool. I love it. I know his audience loves it. I always worry if I go like, I'm going to do like 6 Exorcist ripoffs or 6 Jaws ripoffs that everybody goes, well, that's a month and a half. And I don't like those. So I can just tune out from the channel for a month and a half. So I'm always afraid to kind of do those themes like long term. But yes, there are more Exorcist ripoffs coming. There are more Jaws ripoffs coming. There are all kinds of ripoffs on my list. Dexter, the adorable Frenchton, thank you so much for that super chat. No question. If you got a question, throw it out there. I'll try to answer it. If you give me a super chat, at least I can do is answer your question. Thoughts on Adam Chaplin? Adam Chaplin and all of those Necrostorm flicks were things I was dying to do, like dying to do them. And YouTube is just so crazy right now that there's like, if I tried to do an Adam Chaplin video, it would be like 8 seconds long because that's all I'd be able to show. It'd be a lot of my big ugly mug talking and not a lot of footage. So yeah, I love them, but I don't know. I thought when this all started that this would be a thing where YouTube would go nuts for like 6 months on everything. And then we would kind of go backslide back to the status quo where we weren't crazy about everything and things like were sort of normal again. Like you could show things, you couldn't show crazy stuff, but you could still get away with some stuff. There was still some leeway there. And that has not been the case. Like they have gotten worse over the last few months. Like some of the stuff I get flagged on now, like one barf bag movies get flagged for gore, and there's no gore in the videos, but I get flagged for them anyway. So Let's Get Physical Media. David, thank you so much. Thank you for being excellent. I don't know that I'm excellent, but I try. Wave. Oh, I'm sorry, Wave. Oh, hang on. I missed one. I got to get the one before you there, Wave. Sorry. I jumped the gun. I'm a little anxious tonight. Watching ECW, waiting for Rampage. Love the channel. Also, Kevin Sullivan is watching, brother. Let's see you do a riff review of a wrestling horror film. Jeff El Jefe, thank you so much for that. And a wrestling horror film is coming. Like, I have had plans to do that for a while. I've just not gotten to it. I thought about doing WrestleManiac, and I thought about doing what's the other one that just came out last year? I can't think of what it's called now. Like, it was an old movie that they just finally released, like Vinegar Syndrome or someone did it. So yes, wrestling, it's coming. I'm really gonna have to be on my A game for that one though, because you guys have high expectations, because I've done all these wrestling jokes, and now I'm gonna have to deliver an entire video of wrestling jokes, and I don't know if I'm strong enough for that. So, hey, Tony Pelham, how are you, man? Thoughts on Trader's Exorcist film? I didn't hate it. I thought it was all right. I thought it could have been better, but it's better than Exorcist 2. Do you like the Italian actor Paul Nash? Yeah, Paul Nash is a guy who is one of those guys. When I talked last time about guys I was embarrassed we hadn't had on the show, I talked about like David Hess. Paul Nash is another one. The Wolfman of Spain, right? How have we not had him on the show? Or Coffin Joe, or Coffin Joe is probably because the movies are too old and you guys won't watch the videos. But yes, that I love him. That is coming, Tanya, at some point. Waniac, favorite rapper, period. Duh, Rakim. Is there any other answer? No, not an acceptable one. Do I think Michael Myers will finally meet his end this Halloween? Absolutely not. As long as they can milk money out of Michael Myers, they will continue to make those movies. And that is absolutely I'm sure they will make more. So, all right, what did I miss here? All right, hang on. Scroll. Wow, man. Favorite movie ever? That's complicated. That's hard. Because I like a lot of different films. Like I'm a horror film critic, but I was a film critic during that span too, and I love a lot of stuff. Like Hard Boiled. I'm a huge Takeshi Kitano fan. I think Fireworks is one of my favorite films ever. Wong Kar-wai's Fallen Angels. Chungking Express. It's I can't even pick a favorite movie by genre. You're gonna ask me to pick a favorite movie, period? I can't do it. Those are some of the ones I would go with, though. All right, what else have we got down here? What's your favorite Giallo movie? That's a good question. Probably, I'm gonna keep it traditional. It's either Deep Red or Blood and Black Lace. And please do Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS. You don't know how close you came to getting an Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS video this year. And then I got scared because I'm like, how am I going to do a review of Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS and not say the National Socialist Party name that will get me demonetized? TX Chicano, thank you for the super chat. Michelle Seymour, I'd love to see you explain Jeepers Creepers. I have a rule that I'm just not doing Jeepers Creepers because of that whole Victor Salva thing. Like, I think it's unfortunate. I think Jeepers Creepers is an interesting mythology. I think, but Victor Salva's history, I just don't want to deal with it. The baggage of his past. People are snowflakes. Yeah, sometimes. Everybody's like very sensitive these days. Everybody's super sensitive. I try not to be, but it gets all of us. I love it. I walk around the house and say, let's get to the gore and find out all the time. So, Eric Hawk, a little something for all the fun vids. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. You guys, I make these things for you guys. Like, I can sit on my couch and play video games and have a good time. But, I like to interact with you guys. I like to make the videos and share those cool movies. So I'm glad you guys appreciate it. I love you guys for that. Zach, thank you. Have you watched the new Candyman? No. Sorry about Martyrs. What are you sorry about? That was nothing to be sorry about. I love Martyrs. I'm so glad you sent it. so I could finally do it, because that was one of those movies that people ask me about all the time, and I did it, and then it didn't do great, but I'm glad we did it. So are you excited about Elvira being on Shudder? James, yes, I am. And do I think it'll lead to her getting a show on Shudder like Joe Bob Briggs? Probably. I mean, if she comes out, and it'll be a big deal, and she'll knock it out of the park because she's Elvira. And yeah, I think we could see the place where we have like rotating, Elvira does a season of shows, and then Joe Bob does a season, and that way they like double their content creation, and they don't give me a show. So win-win, right? Curious World. Thank you. Well, we scrolled way past that. Hi, Mike. I've been a fan since I found you during lockdown. Creepshow is my favorite horror movie. How would an anthology movie work for you? This is a good question, because I get asked this a lot to do anthology films like Creepshow, and I'd like to do them, and I have not ruled out doing them. They're just slightly more challenging because they're segments, but we just do them like the same as a regular video. I would do like, each segment would be its own thing, and maybe we do like the gore card for the whole movie, or the gore card for the segments at the end or something. I haven't figured that out, but it would not be impossible to do them or particularly difficult. It would just be breaking the movies up into segments, and each segment would get its own little review, and then we'd talk about the whole, and done, right? What else have we got here? Man, you guys ask a lot of questions. Christ, I am old. Man, you know what? I don't know when the next live stream will be, but I have an inkling it will be in the middle of October, because somebody is turning 49. And I don't know who that is, but somebody is. Marina Monster. That sounds like my kind of trash. Where am I going to find this, though, Dawn? If I can find it, I'm going to watch it. Hard Boiled is sweet. If you ask me, like the greatest action films of the last 50 years, Hard Boiled is the greatest. The Killer is probably second, and I'm gonna go American and say Die Hard is number 3. Die Hard is a great action movie. I know we get a lot of Die Hard pushback because of the whole Christmas thing at this point, but Die Hard is a great action movie. What do we got here? Doom or Jizza? Those are solid choices. I love Doom. I was just posting about Doom today, saying I wake up every day and I hope Doom is faked his death, because I don't want to believe he's actually gone. Favorite Stephen King film? That's The Shining, and not the Mick Garris version. Only Stephen King could get Stanley Kubrick to adapt one of his books and then spend the next 40 years complaining about it, right? Like, that's a great movie, but he complains about it a lot. Hi, Mad Tiberius. Happy autumn to you. I thought I was the only person. Well, I was looking at doing Skin Deep, and I still might. So Deep Red is great. Yes. And please, all the Ilsas, lots of Ilsas. Yes. Jeff says, I'm stoked, but the Phantom shines through, and I know you'll bloody slam this. Yes, I hope so. I gotta be honest. It feels like a lot of pressure to do a wrestling movie at this point, because like the wrestling thing, like so many of the things on the show, the jokes started out sort of organically. Like, I'm just writing jokes about pop culture things that make me laugh and that I relate to and things like that. And then as I started writing the show longer and longer, there are more and more wrestling jokes, and I go, man, I really miss wrestling. But now I feel like a lot of crazy pressure to do a wrestling movie, because I feel like I really have to be on my A game to do it. So, but I'm going to try it. Chungking Express is superb. Like, Wong Kar-wai is an amazing filmmaker. Everyone should check out his work. Favorite Charles Band movie? God, I don't know. Yeah, Terror Vision's a solid choice. I could go with that. Let's see what we got here. Wave, Alien, Boom. I don't know what that's in reference to, but I like it. Alien, Boom. I have much more respect for you since you don't like Salva. Yeah, that's a complicated issue, and it's a terrible story. And if you don't know about it, you can go look it up, and it will probably make you mad, and it probably should make you mad. I'm all for redemption and things like that, but I just can't get behind that guy's work. Like, and this is coming from a guy, like, I struggle with Polanski. But Salva is just a bridge too far for me. So, and if you don't feel that way, that's cool. That's your choice. But for me, I can't. It ruins Jeepers Creepers for me, just knowing his story. So yeah. Don't Torture a Duckling is fantastic. Yes, that would be another one that would be on my list. All right, I missed some super chats here. I scroll up, man. Like my chat is like all over the place. Like it stops and then it jumps and there's like 600 new chats. Rose BR. Yes, I have read Lehman books. I talked about this in the last stream. I actually knew Dick Lehman. He mentored a lot of us who wrote back in the late 90s, early 2000s online, and went to World HorrorCon in 2000 with him, had dinner with him many times when he'd come through the Bay Area, things like that when I lived out there. Great guy, love his work, miss him dearly. He was a huge influence on a lot of us who work in horror now. So oh, Zach, that's not your fault. Don't sweat that at all. Like, those are my faults. Like, I look at the analytics before I do anything and try to figure out if something's going to do well or not do well. And it's like witchcraft. Like, you can look at analytics all day and still not get it right. But yeah, Martyrs was something that had to be done. Like, you can't have a show called Sick Flicks and not do Martyrs, whether it does great or not. Like, had to be done. So I'm glad it's done. David, thank you for your content. I'm so happy to be a Patreon contributor to your work. Well, thank you for being a Patreon contributor. You guys have been instrumental in helping me. Like, this live stream is because of patrons and coffee donations and things like that, because it allowed me to upgrade equipment and buy a new editing computer and set all this up so that I could come on live, because my old laptop was obviously just going to die if I asked it to do any of this. So thank you for that. I appreciate the support. What else we got here? Ogres have layers. Thank you. Hey, Horror Geek, just showing some love. Great channel. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the love. I'm showing some love back, and I'm glad you like the videos, man. The weirdest thing about doing YouTube is like you know, like I'm a pretty self-actualized guy. I'm pretty comfortable with who I am at this point. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. But you go on YouTube and like, you know, there's two fears when you start a YouTube channel, or there were for me anyway. The first fear was that no one would watch, which came true early on. And the second fear is that a bunch of people will watch, which also came true just later. So you're like afraid a little bit that no one will watch and you'll bomb and everyone will laugh at you who knew you did it, because they're like, oh, you did it and you got 10 views and 6 subscribers in your whole life. What a great effort that was. And the other fear is that like a bunch of people will watch you, and when you're on camera and TV and the radio and all this stuff, everybody will like see all your foibles and all your little weird idiosyncrasies and then start pointing them out to you. And then you'll be like, oh my God, I'm self-conscious about everything I do. So yeah, a little scary, but I'm glad you guys love it. And I'm incredibly appreciative that you guys watch and hang out with me. So have you ever heard of Zombie Hunter Rika? I have heard of it. I've never seen it. If I could find a copy, I would think about doing it. Hippie Doof, Emmanuel in America. Yes. No way that's getting through. It was on the list all this time, and I did Trap Them and Kill Them, right? Or Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals. And I was all set to do that one, and I put it off. And now I'm like, that horse scene and the snuff scene, they'll throw me in jail. But I'd like to do it. I mean, it's Joe D'Amato, it's Laura Gemser, it's Emmanuel in America. That's what's not to love. The funny thing about, speaking about that, like Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals, is that movie did like over 100,000 views, right? But like 60% of them came from Indonesia for some reason. I don't know why, but people in Indonesia really like Italian cannibal movies, and they watch those videos. But because I speak English and the auto translate is not good, they watch like, 20 seconds of it and then quit watching it and kill my watch time. So, which is probably way more than you needed to know about the channel, but I'm an oversharer. What horror YouTube channels do you watch regularly? I touched on, like, I will watch, I love Spooky Rice. I love Dead Meat James. I will watch, the Newbie. He covers some horror stuff. I love Cinema Snob. Brad and I have been friends for a very long time. He's a great guy. Love him to death. You know, I will watch a lot of the smaller channels. I love Cinema's Underbelly. He's not a smaller channel. He's going to catch up with me at this point. He's like over 10K subs now. He is killing it. I love him. Obviously, I worked with Horrible Reviews. I was part of his gigantic collaboration for the 3-hour gore film video. I love him. There's a lot of great horror content on this platform, and it's so unfortunate that YouTube hates us because there are some amazing creators making stuff in these kind of films, and YouTube just goes out of their way to make it difficult to make this kind of content, and it sucks because there are a lot of people that love horror movies and advertisers that will advertise horror movies and things and horror shows and things like that. So I don't understand why the platform has gone so insane with this stuff, but that's where we are right now. How about a creature feature stuff? Oh my God, Dr. Paul. So this is funny. Pyro Disco Flash. I live in Florida, and as a kid, I lived in the Tampa area, and I watched Dr. Paul Bearer every Saturday on channel 44, which was, I think, might have been the same channel that showed Championship Wrestling from Florida on Saturday night. So you want a little bit of how the Horror Geek became the Horror Geek, where some of these jokes came from. Yeah, I love Dr. Paul Bearer. I miss that guy. I wish he was still around. Absolutely an influence. Hardware was ahead of its time. That's a film that like deserves a bigger audience. Favorite Tobe Hooper film other than Texas Chainsaw? Can we? Well, if we go with the fact that he's the credited director. Oh, I said it right. Unlike that outtake, credited director. Poltergeist, but I think my actual favorite, because it's so batshit crazy, is the what's the vampire one? Life Force, the one where the vampires from space, where Matilda May is like naked the whole movie. That's a weird movie. I like it. A 3-piece of Clive Barker's 3 directed horror films. Yeah, because I like them, and I did Hellraiser. Jeff, so thank you for that. I did Hellraiser. I would like to do Lord of Illusions and Nightbreed, especially the extended cut of Nightbreed. They're just things I haven't gotten to, so they're on the list. I worry about Lord of Illusions because I think that's a Sony film release, and they copyright claim me like Lionsgate all the time. All right, what have we got here? Yes, I have seen The Raid. That's funny because this is one of those movies that always gets me in trouble when somebody asks me if I've seen The Raid, because I love, I don't know how to say his name, the lead actor in The Raid, and I think he's fantastic. The Raid is not a film that I love. I liked Dread, had the same principle, basic story. I like that better. But really, if you like The Raid, I would say if you have not gone on Netflix and seen The Night Comes for Us, go see that, because that was a non-horror movie I was going to do, and it's not on disc. It's only on Netflix. So if you have not seen that, go check it out. It's an amazing action film, just brutal and great. So Die Hard is a Christmas movie. That's absolutely correct. That is the only correct answer for that. And Die Hard is the best. I love Die Hard. Like, there is a Die Hard joke in an upcoming video, Devilfish, actually. But now that I've spoiled it, now you will all notice it. But I was really curious to see who would get it. So I appreciate your Die Hard reference. I love that we're just going to turn this chat into the Die Hard love fest on the Horror Geek channel. I'm totally cool with that because I will talk about Die Hard all day. Men Behind the Sun is one that is coming. The problem with that is I'm still waiting. There was supposed to be a Blu-ray coming out, and it's one of those small boutique Blu-ray imprint companies, and it just hasn't come out yet. So I turned 54 on the 15th. See? So that's great, Scott. Happy early birthday. Right around my birthday. That could be a good night for a live chat. Just saying. All right. Green-Eyed Bandit 79. I turned 42 on October 4th. Happy early birthday, fellow October person. I love that. I'm 31 and I've been 31 for over 10 years now. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm having a hard time with the whole 49 thing. Like, it's not something I'm like super excited about, to be honest with you. I wish I felt better about turning 49. It's like I'm taking it harder than 30 and 40, that's for sure. Yes, McTiernan has confirmed Die Hard as a Christmas movie. I think Steven D'Souza did too, who was one of the writers. And like, if you're the guy who wrote the movie, you say it's a Christmas movie and you wrote it, even though it's based on a book, your movie's a Christmas movie, right? Like, that's the final word. But we have to have this argument every year. I don't know why. Because we're all bored. Dante, thank you. I am glad YouTube suggested my channel to you and that you liked it. Would suck if you didn't. I often wonder how many people get suggested my channel and then watch a video and go, God, I cannot listen to this guy babble. Favorite horror movie soundtrack? The obvious answer is Goblin and Suspiria, or any Goblin. The dark horse choice, though, is Philip Glass's score for Candyman. That is an amazing piece of work, and I love it. And they never released it to my knowledge. Like, at the time, maybe they have since. What else have we got here? Oh, I saw a question about IGN and it just blipped it off my screen. Where did it go? Oh man, we jumped way down there. What is going on with this thing? I'm missing all kinds of stuff up here. Hang on, we gotta scroll back. I talk too much. This is the problem. I just talk way too much. If you're the same horror geek from IGN years back, I'd hit you up about Alejandro Jodorowsky respective years ago. Yes, I am the horror geek from IGN years back. I am indeed. It's nice to see you, Matt. I don't remember that discussion, unfortunately, because, man, I'm getting old. But what one would I do on this channel? Santa Sangre, which I probably just butchered. Yeah, that seems like the most obvious choice. But really, like, all his films fit in a way, like, would be fun to do because they're just so different and crazy and cool. So, all right, I gotta catch up on these super chats. Let's see what we got here. Please don't on our account. We may view, but it's your enjoyment first. I have the gutmost faith. Well, thank you, Jeff. I try to find the balance. I make the things like I want to make, but I also want you guys to like them because I literally, this is not BS. I literally make these things for you guys. Like, I have day jobs, like, and I have hobbies and things like that. And so, like, I have written about all these movies and have built this weird career. And so, like, but I make these things, and when I do these shows, I make them because, like, this little community we have, I love you guys, and it's special to me. And so I want to always, like, make you guys happy with the videos, and I always want to show you things you may not have seen or may not have heard of, but I also want you to like them. So every once in a while I would go off the beaten path and do something I wanted to do or liked, but generally speaking, you guys like the same stuff I like, right? So it's good. Somebody's got Zach. Oh, don't tell me any more Victor Salva stories, please. I have to sleep tonight. What have we got here? Super chat. All right, Robert Scott, my man. How have you been? Robert has a YouTube channel that you should check out too. He's a fun guy. He talks about a lot of different stuff and he's a deep thinker. You should absolutely check him out. If you ever do a special about old horror flicks that deserve a reboot. They deserve a reboot. Look, you're getting like live flubs, like right on the live stream. Don't even need a little beep intro or any of that. I'm just screwing up stuff. Horror Express. Yes, Horror Express is one that would be worthy of a reboot. I like, people ask that a lot, and like because there's this sort of just like all reboots are bad or all remakes are bad. There are movies like Horror Express that you could absolutely do a reboot or a remake and make them interesting, I think. And sometimes, like, I think the problem is we spend too much time remaking things or rebooting things that don't need to be remade or rebooted, like, I don't know, Suspiria. And instead, there's a million things out there we could make better. So why don't we do those? Horror Express is one of those. Gar, thank you. There will be lots more 80s and 90s hip hop references. I guarantee it. because that's like wrestling. And hey, get a good night's sleep and good luck at judo. And don't beat me up. I'm strong, but I can't fight guys who do judo. Thoughts on Astron 6 and the editor specifically. The editor, yeah. So Astron 6, we kind of touched on them with The Void. I love the editor, the best Giallo spoof of all time. Absolutely. You're 100% correct, and I really should do that film. That is one we should absolutely do on the show. I have it on Blu-ray in the other room, so at some point that might happen. Billy Bob, Texas, my man, how are you doing tonight? Stuck in a haunted house with COVID. What? Oh, man. I hope it's not bad, and I hope you feel better. And thank you for the super chat. You should probably save that for medicine. I'm an idiot. What else have we got here? Hey, you really play that. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for thanking me. I appreciate that. I think YouTube hates everyone, Chemdog says. Yes, I agree. I do. Unless you're one of those people who has a YouTube channel about making YouTube success, like finding success on YouTube. They generally leave those guys alone. Vampiros Lesbos needs your reaction. Yes, it does. So here's the weird thing. We have not done a vampire movie on the channel. It occurred to me a couple weeks ago. Like the show is almost 3 years old now. Like the channel is almost 3 years old. We'll be in March, and we've done a lot of zombie movies. We've done a lot of demon movies. We've done some haunted house movies. We've done some possession movies. We've done a lot of Killer Shark ripoff, Jaws things. No vampires. So a vampire movie is coming in a couple weeks. It's not Vampiros Lesbos, but that one may happen too. Because, yeah, we need to do that. Soldier Samurai, opinion on the Laid to Rest films. Love the first one. Don't remember the second one. Wanted to do them. They're Lionsgate, and Lionsgate just kills me on copyright for some reason. Prude Tube gonna Prude Tube. Truer words have never been spoken. So true. Horrible Reviews is great. Yeah, so he contacted me to ask me to be in his compilation video, his big collaboration, and I was incredibly flattered because he's a guy that I was watching long before I started a channel, and I've always thought he was hilarious, and just like the way he does his line, he's like so deadpan and he's just a cool guy, and like to get to know him because we back and forth a lot, and he's another big hip hop head, which you may not know. Like I am, likes a lot of the same stuff. Like if you watch that video, there are some drops in there of things that are like, if you're a hip hop head, they're big, surprising to find in a horror film video. And just getting to work with him and getting to know him and chat with him has been just fun because like, he's a guy that if we lived on the same continent, we'd hang out like all the time, I think. So great dude. Horror movies and metal. They go together hand in hand, which is why it's so funny that like I like metal, but I'm a hip hop guy. I don't know why, but I'm like the anomaly in that regard. Although, as I just mentioned, Horrible Reviews, there are a few of us. It confuses me how YouTube, because they can't find advertisers for anything but Johnson & Johnson Baby-esque videos. Yeah, like I don't think, sometimes I wonder, like, is YouTube even trying? Because a lot of my videos are like, a lot of the ads I see when I watch videos are like sort of scammy, like here's how to make $1 million a year on Amazon or whatever, like or these weird, crazy herbal remedy things, right? And so I go like, YouTube has over 2 billion active users a month. It's like 2.3 billion. That's not views, that's users. So then extrapolate that the average person doesn't just watch one video when they come to YouTube. That's a huge potential audience for advertisers. You're telling me that nobody wants to advertise on this platform, that they can't go out and find advertisers for videos that are not G-rated? Like there aren't companies out there that would advertise on horror movie videos or true crime videos or whatever controversial topic they're after this week. I don't buy it. Like either they're not trying or they just don't want to do it. And I suspect they just don't want to do it. Rick Lee, thank you for the super chat. This is a thing I got to do. There's some kind of program which I knew about, and I did this sort of spur of the moment, so I didn't have time to set it up, where I can click on these chats and put them on the screen so that it's easier so everybody can play along at home instead of me having to narrate everything. Rick Lee says, always been a mainstream horror fan. I've been learning a ton and expanding my viewing since discovering your channel. I appreciate your work. Rick, I'm so happy to hear this. This is like one of those things that, like, this is why I do the channel. Like, sometimes people ask me, like, why don't you do Friday the 13th or Halloween? And it's like, well, because everybody's done those. Like, there's a million videos on YouTube about Halloween or Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. And, like, I don't have anything crazy new to add to that discussion. I mean, certainly I would bring my own spin on it. I've written about those movies extensively. But, like, for me, the fun of the channel is exposing people to things they haven't heard of, or they might have heard of but had never seen. Or, like, does the world need another Halloween review on this platform, or does it need more Night of the Demon about killer Bigfoot? I think it's the latter. So I'm glad you appreciate that. I have not discussed Fright Night yet. Fright Night is one I'm looking forward to talking about someday. What else have we got here? I got so many, guys. I'm so sorry. Like, I feel this gives me anxiety sometimes, not because I don't want to come hang out with you, but because I feel terrible because there are literally 7,000 comments here and they are so fast and so many, and I talk so long that I cannot possibly answer them all. And so if I don't get to your question, it's because I didn't see it. So you are the second. All right. Hold on. I am the second best movie reviewer on all of YouTube. You rock. I tell everyone about you. GM Good. Who's the best? Who's my competition? Who do I have to take down? I got to know what I'm going after here. I'm happy to be number 2, but I want to know who number 1 is. Smog Frost, thank you. Mutual love from Pennsylvania. Yes, where at in Pennsylvania? You Pittsburgh or Philly? Closer to which? You don't dox yourself. I don't want people to, like, know exactly where you live, but I was a Western Pennsylvania guy. 1 second, guys. I need a drink. And Scott's from PA too. Well, thank you. I'm glad you love the content, and I miss PA. I was actually talking to a friend in Pittsburgh the other day about how I was like 3 years ago, we talked about moving back and didn't, and it's cold, but sometimes I wish we had. Matt, are you leaving me? Matt Harney? I am glad you approve of that. Matt, you have been my friend for a very long time. Thank you. If you are leaving, thanks for coming and hanging out, man. I love you. Who does number 2 work for? I don't know. GM Good. I got that you gave me the super chat, which I love, but I don't see the answer in there. I gotta know who number 1 is. Smogfrost Harrisburg. So you're right in the middle. You get like the best of both worlds. It's nice. Steeler country. Yes. I am a lifelong Penguins, Pirates, Steelers fan, although being a Pirates fan is a special form of torture. Can you please do more Asian horror movies, especially Thailand's Art of the Devil? Yes and yes. Yeah, I would like to do more Asian horror. A lot of times it's just scheduling, and they don't do great, but I still like to do them because I love those. And Art of the Devil is one I would absolutely love to do. Oh yeah, folks in Pleasant Hills. That's great. I know where that is. Weirdest movie you've ever seen. It's Begotten. Like, or maybe Subconscious Cruelty, but like Begotten does that movie even make sense? Like, I've read what it's about, but I would have never gotten that's what it's about from when I watched it. It's just a weird movie. It's crazy, but yeah. Oh my goodness. We're WDRD Channel 13. Have you heard of an 80s practical effects tutorial called The Art of Splatter? Is that the one from Canada? Because if it is, I have. I've heard of it, but I'm not sure if I'm thinking of the right thing. But yes, I think that's the one. If it is, yes. I don't have a copy, or I would try to do it. sometimes that's the hard part of the show is I just can't find copies of things I would like to do, which is why Martyrs took so long and why we haven't done, things like Men Behind the Sun. D, thank you for subscribing to the Patreon. I appreciate that. Like I said earlier, you guys have helped make a lot of this possible. Not that the people who don't subscribe to the Patreon don't help as well. I want to make that clear. Every time you guys watch a video and get an ad or just watch a video or click a like or leave a comment, that helps me immensely because the algorithm loves that stuff. Allstone Commander, you give me too much credit. You think I showed up with a topic? Come on, man. I just showed up. I just showed up and started blabbing. Someday we're going to have a topic. That day is not tonight. That doesn't even make sense. You really, all right, Sage, hold up. We gotta address this. For the life of me, Sage says, I cannot understand the appeal of the Halloween movies or Michael Myers. Like all of them? Like I get it. Like if you don't like the sequels, if you don't like Halloween 3, I'm with you 100%. If you don't like oh, I'm sorry, Full Moon. Let me go back and find it in just a second. Let me finish this and I will go back. I will find it for you, I swear. Or you may not like zombies or whichever, but how can you not like the first one? That's a classic. I'm troubled by this. All right, I gotta find Full Moon super chat. Hang on. How far back was it, Full Moon? It's like pretty far back here, I think. Oh, there it is. The Mask, 1961 needs the horror geek treatment. Yeah, 1961 is the problem. Man, like when you get on YouTube before like 1975, you're entering the danger zone. Like, those movies are important, like Blood Feast and all that. But like everybody on YouTube, even my audience, which skews older, a lot of people just act like that stuff is so old. But like they just do not tune in for it. Like it's just like it's too old. I'm not saying we won't do them because I think like you have to do Coffin Joe, you have to do all of H.G. Lewis's stuff. But for me, it becomes this thing where I have to figure out how to, like, I have to assume that those videos will not do particularly well. So I have to find a way to slot them in places where, like, if I do 6 of those in a row, I kill myself in the algorithm. So I have to figure out where I can do them and slot them in where they get out there and they get their 15 or 20,000 views, but they don't like kill the channel momentum across the boards. Like if I could predict when a video was going to take off and do like 40 or 50,000 views, then I'd go, oh, okay, that did really well. I can slot in one of these older films after that, because if it doesn't do as well, it's not going to hurt anything. But that's like way more inside baseball. I swear to God, like I just made fun of guys who run YouTube channels about making success on YouTube, and I spend half my time talking about how YouTube screws me over. So I should probably just kill this channel and start one of those channels because I'd be rich. What have I got here? If I missed anyone else, you gotta tell me, and I will try to see it. Do I watch the Wu-Tang show on Hulu? I have not watched it yet. I have to watch it. It's an absolute must-see for me, but I just haven't seen it yet. All right. Monica Presley, how are you, Monica? Thank you for the sticker. It's good to see you here. I'm glad you came to hang out. Hope you're having fun, laughing at me being an idiot. Each of the reviewers I watch does a slightly different thing. Brandon is great for general oddball B movies and Godzilla stuff. James is good for his kill count, and Horror Geek is for rare horror. Well, I think that's great, and I agree with you. Like, and in my dream world, I'd get to collaborate with both of those guys at some point because I like them both. I think it would be fun. I would love to collaborate with Spooky Rice, and I imagine someday Cinema's Underbelly and I will do something together because we like some really messed up stuff. And if we throw it on his channel, I don't care, right? If it doesn't make money, because I'm just doing it for fun with him. So that may be something that happens. I'm sure I'm missing like all this Halloween debate, and now Season of the Witch is great. Oh. All right, guys, chat's over. We're done. I see how younger audiences don't like Halloween. I don't, honestly. I mean, I can understand it intellectually that, like I can understand somebody will not like anything. Like that makes sense. But I don't understand if you're a horror fan, like if you're really into horror as cinema, as a genre, I don't know how you look at Halloween and go, like, even if you don't like it, even if you don't love it, you'd still have to kind of acknowledge it's a landmark film. Like when it comes to the genesis of slasher cinema, that is one of the landmark films that gave us the whole ocean of 80s slasher cinema. So I understand, like, maybe it's just not your thing, but you still got to give it its props. I just see random comments sometimes and I laugh. And Nerd Musks, you're shaking hands with danger by that point. Guitar twang. Like, I don't know what that means, but it just sticks out to me and it's funny. Halloween 3 is awesome. Like, I get it. I get that, like, the younger generation really loves Halloween for some reason. Halloween 3 for some reason that I cannot fathom. And I'm glad you like it. But I lived through it. Like, I was there and it was not good. And it has not gotten better over time. Like, it's kind of like Africa by Toto. That's another thing you guys love, that those of us who lived through it, remember, it wasn't good and it's not good now, but I can appreciate that you like it. I sort of I should quit talking during these things because, like, I'm going to alienate half the audiences with my hot takes on Halloween 3 or Africa now. Somebody's gonna be like, oh, the horror geek hates Toto, which is true. But yes. All right. I got a super chat down here. Best-selling author, writing coach Lisa Daly. Thank you for that sticker. My dear, how are you? I hope you're having a good evening at your writers conference. Ethan, I'm not even going to try to say that last name because I'm going to screw it up. But thank you for the super chat. Favorite gore makeup effects artist. This is complicated. Anytime you ask me a question, the answer is complicated because I like to make things complicated. Savini is the obvious choice, right? He's the guy, but you got Rob Bottin, you got Screaming Mad George, you've got John Carl Buechler. Then you get into the Italians. You got, Gino De Rossi, Gennetto De Rossi. That's a complicated question. I think, like, if we're talking overall and head explosions, it's Savini. If we're talking, crazy, making the most out of no budget Italian stuff, it's Gennetto De Rossi. So it really, that's a tough one to answer definitively with one person, because all of those guys have done some amazing work. I mean, like, you could go Savini, but then you look at The Thing, and The Thing is a masterclass. Or what about Rick Baker? Or what about Stan Winston? There are guys who have just done amazing, amazing work. And I love all of them. And, like, picking one as a favorite always feels like I'm somehow slighting, the rest of them. So I feel guilty when I do it. I'm glad you asked because I got to make some complicated answer, but yeah. But I'm also like, oh my God, I feel so on the spot with that. Halloween 3 is at least better than Halloween 5 and Halloween Resurrection. Yeah. All right, Zach. I'm not gonna argue that. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Like, if we're talking Halloween 3 and, Halloween 5 and Resurrection, yeah, I'll get, just the fact that, oh my God, what is his name? Why can I not think of his name? Is in Halloween 3, automatically makes it better than those two films. Just say you hate Toto ironically. Yeah, because that's how they love it, right? So, Oh my God. Hold the line. I love, guys, I got to tell you, I love that it's Friday night and I'm sitting here at home by myself and we have had a discussion about Die Hard and Christmas movies and we've bagged on Halloween 3 and now we're talking about Toto's Africa. That's like just my perfect Friday night. I'm glad you all came for this. So did Toto do the score for Dune? Here's another thing I'll take a crap on that will make everybody mad. I don't like Dune either. So I've never cared for Dune. Oh no, way. Oh no. Oh, what do we got here? Boglum Chronicles. Oh no way, you're live. Been a huge man, Mike. Your content has been great. Well, thank you. And yeah, I do occasionally do a live. This is my second one. Hope to do more of a regular schedule with like some topics instead of me just playing answer crazy questions or type things. But I'm so glad so many of you have come out and hung out with me. So Matthew, disagree. I was there too. You loved Toto's Africa back in like 1983? Really? I mean, somebody made that song popular. It wasn't anybody I knew, but yeah. All right. I didn't forget Rick Baker, Synth Addict. I got him. Older than me. Uh-oh, I'm hearing I missed a super chat. Hang on here. Did I miss Reaper Girl's super chat? I probably did. Let me find it. Hang on. Oh. Somewhere here is a way to find it. I don't know where it is, but somewhere. Oh. Yeah, it's Steven. Nothing better than watching the Horror Geek. Thank you. I appreciate that. Reaper Girl, I think I missed your super chat and I cannot find it. Heavy Metal Crone, always the best content. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very sweet. Maybe these are old ones, but I feel like I missed some and I apologize, but because the chat is like bouncing around tonight for some reason, and I don't know why, but like it stops and then it jumps. And so I have to scroll back. As you can see, I'm old and scrolling is not one of my best skills. All right. I am sorry. I can't find it. It's too far back, I think, in the chat to get to it. Maybe someone can send it to me in text and I will find it that way. Annabelle Roman, thank you. Thanks for all the content, fellow fiend. You rock hard. Well, thank you. I try. I do my best. Sorry for being cheap. No, don't ever apologize for that. Like, there is, like, I am super appreciative of any Patreon donations, any coffee donations, any super chats, anything like that. But there is no reason to apologize. Like, I would come here and if nobody donated a thing, I would still do this because you guys are my people. So I like to come hang out with you. And, you know, the super chats are nice. They make it, you know, help pay for things on the show, help me buy more DVDs and Blu-rays so we can cover more stuff. But yeah, absolutely not necessary. So what do we got here? Hang on one second. I got my technical control here. All right. I'm sorry. I missed the super chat and I can't find it. Hot take. Rubber is horrible. Rubber is one of those films. Like, I don't think it's horrible, but I get why you maybe wouldn't like it. Oh, I think Reaper asked most disturbing movie you've seen. If that's correct, allow me to answer. Most disturbing movie I've seen. Boy. I've seen a lot of disturbing stuff and I'm really super jaded to it. I'm going to have to think about that because I'm not sure. Constantine, Prada, holy crap. Khan, my man. My man Khan has been my friend since high school. One of my best friends in the whole wide world. One of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the mic because I like mics. he is super talented. Like, I like to go around and joke that I'm the most famous guy who graduated from my high school, but Khan is probably more famous than me. I was on Beat the Geeks, but Khan does like works on Naked and Afraid and has done like all kinds of TV and has taught reality TV production at Full Sail University over in Orlando. Yeah, Khan, love you, man. Thank you for coming by. The Late Horror Show. What's up? Not much, man. Just hanging out, taking it easy. Friday night, hanging out with the guys here and the ladies, having a good time, just blabbing away like I'm prone to do. Good stuff. How are you? The disturbing movie, Smurfs and the Magic Flute. Yeah, I'm really trying to think, like, disturbing is hard. Like, cause I see so much stuff and I'm so jaded to these things now. It's really hard, to pick one. I have not seen Malignant yet, hippie doof, because film Twitter ruined that for me, with their, Malignant came out and I was kind of interested in seeing it. And then Twitter started this whole thing about calling it a giallo. And it started this whole big deal about what is a giallo and what isn't, which is one of those things that drives me nuts because people who write and talk about horror films should understand what they're talking about. And when you start talking sometimes about these things incorrectly, it just drives me up a wall. And so now I'm like, I don't want to see it. So I'm just waiting. But I will see it and I will share my thoughts when I do. Cinema's Underbelly, favorite film. Look, Cinema's Underbelly is here. I hope he was here earlier when I was saying all these nice things about him because I love Jonathan Doe. That is my homeboy right there. This is a guy, I'm telling you, if you like really messed up movies, go subscribe to his channel because he covers stuff that I'm scared to cover. And he is less afraid to cover it. And he makes disgustingly awesome movies. So you're going to want to get in on that too. Man, favorite film score. I touched on this earlier. If we're talking horror films, it's probably Suspiria, although I really like Carpenter's Halloween, but the dark horse is Philip Glass's score from Candyman. Jack Ketchum's The Girl Next Door. If the movie messed you up, go read the book because that's even more hardcore. So, oh God, Paul Weiss, you got to come in here and ask me about the audio on the Evil Dead Trap episode. We have had some technical difficulties the past few weeks, as you may have noticed. One of the challenges of doing the show is, and they tell you not to do this, is don't upgrade all of your equipment at once. Like, do it in pieces. And I, being Mike Bracken, who knows everything, did not listen to that advice. I bought a camera and I bought new lights and I bought a new mic a while back. And so what happened is that when I was setting up the new computer, I was having a computer issue. And part of the computer issue was related to the Adobe Creative Suite. I edit on Premiere. I do the sound work in Audition. And Audition basically ate the settings for the audio. And being Mike Bracken, I did not write them down because I'm a super genius and I would just remember them, right? Except I didn't remember them. Totally forgot them. And so I'm trying to fix them every week. And here's the thing. I'm not an audio technician and I don't know if anyone here is or isn't or knows anything about audio. You probably know more than I do. But the fascinating thing to me about audio is that you listen to your audio and you hear it through your headphones or your speakers or your TV or your different computer monitors or whatever. And it sounds one way. And then you plug in a different set of headphones or a different set of speakers and it sounds totally different. So the audio on like Evil Dead Trap and Evil Ed on my end was a little bit bassy, more bassy than normal. Part of that is because like, I just like my voice to be like Barry White because I don't have that in real life. So if I can do that in post, I'm going to make myself sound cool. Didn't work, but the audio on my end sounds, like I said, it sounds a little bassier, but it doesn't sound bad. But for some people, it sounds super boomy and I don't know why. And I have not figured out how to fix it yet. But every week, I think it's getting a little bit better and closer back to what it was. hopefully, and I'm praying that we have got it back there, because now, before this happened, I thought the audio sounded terrible, but everybody else liked it. And now I think I've run it through 7 different things here in my house and it sounds good, but people have problems with it. So now we're back to the point where it doesn't sound good again to me. So it's probably close to where it's supposed to be. That's my guide. So I am sorry. I'm trying to fix it. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm trying. My most disturbing films are Solo or Rare a Dead Person. Rare a Dead Person is not fair because that's that's like a death tape. And if we were going by that, yeah, if we're counting death tapes, that's a whole other discussion, and I'm not going there because I don't want to get demonetized. But yes, I've seen plenty of that stuff, and yes, plenty of really disturbing things, and I'm sure Cinema's Underbelly has as well. But yeah. All right, let's see what I missed while I was blabbing forever about audio. My goodness. All right, there's Con. Come down here. We really need to get a hell yeah. Like I need a hell yeah on my Stream Deck button. I kind of got that set up for Twitch, but I haven't figured out how to get it set up for YouTube yet. Cinema's Underbelly. Thoughts on Rob Zombie's Monsters? It's the same as my thoughts on everything Rob does. Like I'm interested. I have sort of guarded expectations for it. I think it's like Halloween, where it's one of those things he loves, and that could go either way. It could be great because he loves it and he'll do it justice, or it could be one of those things that he loves so much that he has no objectivity. I hope it's good. So yeah, Irreversible. Like I know everybody is like Serbian film. I don't think Serbian film is as powerful as its reputation. Like it's a messed up movie. I don't, some of it's like too try hard for me. Come on, thank you. Stop giving me money, man. Just come hang out. Come hang out for the holidays. Come hang out at the house. So NJM, thank you for the super chat. My man, thoughts on Necromantic? And he plans on doing a video on it at some point. Appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you, and thank you. Necromantic. Yeah, we touched on this last time I did the live stream, that I am not the world's biggest Necromantic fan, not because I find it disturbing, but because I find it very boring until you get to the payoff in both of them. I much prefer Nacho Cerda's Aftermath. I think that's a way better necrophile film. It's done in like 40 minutes. It's way better looking. It's way better shot. I find it way more disturbing. But yeah, Necromantic, the challenge will be editing around the gore and the subject matter. Like before, if it was just going around the gore, that would not be particularly difficult. What YouTube has done in the past 10 months is now they're not just hitting you for what you show, they're hitting you for what you say, which is why when I talk about a certain grown-up website, I will say P-Hub and not its actual name, because if you say the P word, you get flagged for demonetization. It's the same thing as like the Michigan strawberry jokes in American Rickshaw. I could not say that word for what the Michigan strawberry is in reality without getting demonetized. They literally demonetized me over it. There's no gore in that video. There's no nudity, nothing. It was 3 jokes with that word that starts with the 2 words that start with B and P. That's all I will say about that. So yeah. So now it's like, how do I, and like Aftermath, I don't think there's any way I could do. Like, it's just you couldn't cut around enough of it to make it work the way I do videos and to get it to fit. But you could do Necromantic because there's more movie around it, because it's a longer movie. But I don't know how I would talk about it, the subject matter, without getting flagged. So we need to basically come up with like code words for everything I talk about on this channel. And we can have like our own little secret language where we talk about like, ooh, when he says this, it really means this. But I'm busy. I don't have time to make up a secret language. You guys want to do that? I might be interested. Miguel Chavez, thank you so much for the super sticker. Wrecked. That's a good one. I have not seen that one before. You're the first person to send me that one. I like that. Well, Chem Dog, this one's brighter because I turned on the back lights. So you can see the mess behind me. Last time I didn't turn them on because I was like, oh, I don't want everybody to see all my mess back there. Like the wall's not fully painted. I got to do that. And I wanted to see the podium a little bit, but I want everybody to see all the, like, it looks like Dexter's slaughter room in here with all these blankets on the wall. Like I'm like carving up cadavers or something. So are we still talking about Toto? It's just, next stream is just a Toto stream. And I will tell you why I like Hall & Oates better than Toto. All right. What we got here? Well, thank you, Chuck. The audio is like, I get it. Like if you have a setup and it doesn't work, it sucks. Cause that's the thing people hate the most about a video is like, if the video quality is shit, people don't care. But, if the audio quality sucks, they will bail. And so I don't want the audio to be bad, but I've also come up to this point where I'm like, I don't understand how I'm supposed to fix it because I don't know how everybody interacts with the audio. So I don't know, but I'm trying. Like the goal is in the very near future to hire an editor because the channel is like so much work with my day jobs that getting a video out every week with the editing and the filming and the scripting and all of that is very time consuming. And it's very hard for me schedule wise. Like I literally work 7 days a week and an editor would be the person who would come in and basically, handle that, fix that stuff for me, fix the terrible color correction I do and the terrible framing and the terrible audio and all of that. So, oh my God, Pizzal is here. Hey, Piz. So you guys have to know Piz. He's got a huge channel. Like he's got a channel like my size, covers horror movies. Great dude. Love him and his brother, Jeremy. They're fabulous. Not only do you go there and you get movie reviews, but you also get reviews of the latest Mountain Dew flavors. And I don't drink a lot of Dew anymore, but if you need to know about Mountain Dew, Jeremy is your hookup because he tries every flavor imaginable. And Piz is great. And yeah, audio is the one aspect of video creation that I am constantly slaving over. Yeah, like it's insane. Like I don't know how to make it better. I'm not smart enough to figure these things out and I'm comfortable enough to say that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Audio is like a mystery to me. Like the video is hard enough, but Jesus, like it was so eye-opening to mess it up because I didn't understand this beforehand because, I just hear the audio on my end and it sounds okay. But it's just one of those things like now that I know, like I've seen behind the curtain of audio and I understand how it sounds terrible to other people. And now I'm like obsessed with it. Like I was obsessed with it before, like since I started the channel, I'm like, God, these videos sound like shit. How do I fix it? The room's too echoey. This is going on. That's going on. Now it's even more complicated. So like the better I try to make the channel, the more I mess it up. But I am glad it sounds fine to some of you. I just don't know how to fix it for everybody, but I'm trying. I really am. So if you keep giving me feedback, please give it to me nicely because when you come in, like when somebody comes in and goes, God, your audio sucks ass, man. I go home, I go into my room and I like sob into the pillow because I'm like, oh my God, I suck at this. Why am I doing this? Why am I not just sitting on my couch playing Hades or Final Fantasy 14 and like doing something else with my life? So Wizard of Gore, Tanya Brown. Well, that's a classic. It's H.G. Lewis, man. How can you not love that? Like it's essential gore cinema. So classic. Oh, I got another super sticker here. Christine Vargas. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm nobody's hero. That's very sweet, but let's be honest. I barely function. Shaw and Oates, a new Amish band. They're all acoustic. Yeah, I'll take Hall & Oates over Toto any day. That's a no-brainer. Like, come on. we have gone from Toto to now Hall & Oates. This is dangerous because, like, if you put me in front of a camera for 2 hours and just let me babble and like talk about random stuff, and then I can control the conversation, this is bad news, guys. To be honest, this is just bad news. Oh my goodness. All right, what do I got here? Someone says I'm lagging. Am I lagging for anyone? Is it just Heather's? Heather's Chubby Hubby. Ooh, that's a good name. Paul Weiss, thank you. #1 fan. Yeah, you're up there. You're definitely in the running. I don't know. I don't like to rank fans, but if I were, you're definitely in the running. The big one is up there too. That guy loves me. And I appreciate that because I'm a guy who's a bottomless pit for adoration. Bill Van Vagel. Bill, we have talked for a long time and I don't actually know if I pronounce your last name correctly. Good to see you here. I touched on Malignant earlier because I haven't seen it yet. No lag. Okay. So I was a little worried about the lag tonight because I got a lag warning before I started the stream. I think because I was playing around with the bit rate for the stream because YouTube is like, you can stream at 51,000 bits KB or whatever it is. Whereas Twitch is like, oh, you can do 6,000. And I'm like, well, I don't have internet fast enough to do 51,000, but I can do, like 15,000. So I cranked it up. So Heather's Chubby Hubby, I think it's just something on your end. I'm sorry. I may have cranked it up too high for you. Zach, you are my hero. Zach has seen me raise some hell in his day. He has seen a younger horror geek who was a bit of a hellraiser. Dante the Cure. Yeah, Hellraiser 2 and Hatchet 2. Hatchet 2's iffy because I got copyright claimed on that one, and I suspect the same will happen with the sequel. Hellraiser 2 should have happened. I just got sidetracked. So, okay, Mike, do some bloopers. I bloopered earlier. Were you not here? No name? I am the Ice Lord. Thank you so much. I'm glad I'm not lagging over there, and I will definitely keep up the great work if you guys keep watching. Heck yeah, Horror Geek live stream, right? I'm the gift that keeps on giving. Just live streams, bloopers, terrible jokes. God. Oh, Fat Fox, Toto or Journey. Do you want me to kill myself? Like, oh, I probably can't say that. Undo. Yeah, I'm probably in trouble now. This video's doomed. There went all this replay is demonetized. Halloween is next month. I am always excited for Halloween. I'm an October baby. Well, I'm not a baby anymore. Yeah, so this is my favorite time of year. I'm super excited about Halloween. Like every year, I'm excited about my birthday less so because getting a little close to 50, which I'm not comfortable with. But Halloween Kills, yeah, I'm down for all that. Heather's Chubby Hubby, thank you so much. You sound fine, and you are good enough, smart enough, and gosh darn people like you. Well, that's what I hope. I occasionally get a comment where someone doesn't like me, and then I post it on Twitter and make fun of them because there is no bottom level to how vindictive I can be if you're mean to me. I was watching Dead Alive. Yeah, that lawnmower scene is classic. And Dead Alive is that movie that I have never been able to do because it's a Lionsgate film. Like, I should just make a list of things that, like, I can't do. The movies, and then like the list of if we ever get sponsors, like company sponsors, like if Skillshare ever comes to me and says, Mike, we'd like you to make a video where you promote Skillshare, and they would pay for it. And then they would pay for the fact that the video wasn't going to get any ads or make any money. And then I would slap a bunch of gore in it too. So Lionsgate couldn't get any money because I'm vindictive, as I told you. So yes, but that's what I would love to do. But Fernando, yes, I still lift. Are you kidding? I'm a little fat right now, a little fluffy, but yes, I still lift. 2021 has been a rough year lifting wise. I was really killing it coming into 2021. Like the bench was getting upper mid 300s on the way to 405, which was the big goal. And the deadlifts and the squats were back in the 500 plus range on the way to 6. And then I just injury after injury after injury since February. So still lifting, but everything is down. So hopefully it gets better. But again, I'm getting old. Give all of them screenwriters credit. Everybody should have screenwriters credits. I hope you're saving them. Full Moon. Hey now, no one else, Full Moon. You were the only one who made a video talking about my 50,000, which I am incredibly appreciative of. That was very sweet of you. And yes, I loved it. Check out Full Moon's channel if you want to see that or some of his other videos. Matthew Mancini, thank you for the sticker. Thanks for being you. Who else am I going to be? Who else am I going to be? What else have we got here tonight, guys? Have we got any more Toto? I can't answer these Malignant questions because I haven't seen it. Because I spend all my time watching old horror movies, not new ones. Oh. Sad Seal. Hey, Sad Seal. Man, you made it. And I feel good because I saw you this time. You didn't get lost in the sea of chat. Yeah, lifting's weird. Like you know, like you start out and there's new, we're going to talk about weightlifting now. I'm sorry for a minute. Segue. If you don't like weightlifting, this is a good time to go pick up a drink or go to the bathroom or whatever. Yeah, weightlifting is like one of those things. Like your first year, you make crazy gains because they're all noob gains and all that. And then as you get more experience, the gains slow down, and you expect that. And I certainly do. But this year has just been rough because it's not been a problem of my progress stalling. It's been the progress stalls because I've just had nagging injuries. And so the nagging injuries, every time I think I'm better, I just re-injure whatever was injured since February. And they are literally, like, a lot of times I have an injury that affects one lift, but now I have 2 injuries and they affect all 3 lifts. So Toto, whatever you think of Toto, they're made up of genius musicians. I am not in a place to deny that. They're better musicians than me for sure, because I can't sing or play an instrument. I just love that we're having this debate. Yeah, the Laid to Rest series, they're Lionsgate. So they're one of those ones like that. It sucks so bad because, especially with Lionsgate, because although with Sony too, same thing. I'm on the press list. I've been on the press list for like 15 years. Like they've sent me screeners and press screening invites and all this shit for forever. But the second, like, they're like, please write about our movies. Please write about our movies. But the second I want to make a video about their movies and show any footage from their movies, they're like, oh, sorry, we want all your money. And it's not that much money, but it's the principle of it. Right. And so it's one of those things like, Lionsgate is a ton of horror movies. They put out a lot of horror movies. And so like, and some channels get away with it because they don't use as much footage as I do. But the way my show works, there's a lot of jokes about what's happening on screen that are not funny if you can't see what's happening on screen. So I have to use a lot of footage and then they claim them and there you go. And so it's like, I just reached this point, and it used to be when they claim it, I can appeal and it should fall under fair use because it's a review and I changed that, I'm not showing you the movie. I talk over, like, hell, I've had people complain, like, won't you shut up and let me watch the movie? And it's like, no, that's not the point of the show. The show is I talk over the movie. And if you want to, and then you should want to go see the movie and you should go see it, or you should go buy it. Or if you already own it, you should go watch it again. Yeah, it's so weird that, like, then you appeal and they deny them. And as I mentioned last time, the appeal system is broken because you're not appealing to YouTube or some third party arbiter of whether something's fair use or not. If Lionsgate claims my video, I appeal to Lionsgate. So what are the odds that they're going to say, like, oh yeah, he's right, it's fair use, because I can't do anything if they don't and they get the money. So the system is broken. But let's not go down that path tonight, because I'll be here forever and some of you want to go to bed. Zach, you had a 400-pound deadlift? That's good. Because you're not like a heavy guy. I'm a heavy guy, so. I'm Chris Craven. I am dying to do it. Like, cover some Chrome Skull. Like, that is like perfectly in my wheelhouse. Like, that movie would be a really good Sick Flicks episode, because A, it's gory, and B, it's got an interesting killer, and C, it's got like plenty of stuff to make fun of. So it's like, it's perfect, and I can't do it. And I think all the time about how much I want to do it. Hi, Dave Bushti. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Aberdeen, Scotland. It's 4 a.m. What are you doing up at 4 a.m.? Are you just up late, or are you going back to work or something? Transmission? That's late. I can't stay up that late. I'm old. Geek Dragon, big fan. Do you consider yourself a horror host? God, that's a good question. I don't know what I consider myself, because really I was a critic for, 18 years professionally. Like, I wrote for everywhere: IGN, Movie Phone, Fandango, Cinematical, movies.com, a lot of places. So I've always considered myself a critic, but now that I'm here, I'm kind of a horror host. I mean, I do a show about horror films, and it's goofy, and it pays homage to guys like Dr. Paul Bearer and Chili Billy and, Sven Gulli and all those guys from, years past, or that are still doing it. So yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I like that better than content creator. God, you know what? I hate when people call what I do content. And if you do, I'm not mad at you. I find the idea that we call everything people make now content just devalues it. Like, it makes it just like some product, and like, there's a lot of work goes into making these things. And trust me, they're not art, but they're not content either. So, man, I'm on a roll time. I'm just cranky old Mike tonight. I don't know, what else can I complain about? Toto. I complain about Halloween 3. Now I'm complaining about what you call my videos. Why do you guys even watch me? Fernando, thank you. I'm excited to hit 50K. I'm super excited by the prospect of 100K. Although I don't know how long that's going to take. Oh no, James, your rotator cuff. Yeah, so I have a left pec injury, and I did not tear my rotator cuff or my pec, but you cannot be a power lifter or a strong man and not think about tearing a bicep, tearing a pec, or rotator cuff problems, because those are, like, if you're not a pro or young, they're career enders. So yeah, I'm sorry you had to go through that. What do you think of The Dead? Yes, I like The Dead. The Dead, the first one, is one I've thought about covering, and I've just never gotten to it. Which is a recurring theme, because I have a list of thousands of movies, and I get out 52 episodes a year. Miguel Chavez, laid to rest for Sick Flicks. Seems like it could earn a decent barf bag rating. Underrated. Yeah, it's the copyright. It's perfect. But it's just the the coffee right. It's Folgers. The copyright. I have not reviewed all the Human Centipede movies. I did the first one, and then now it's like, oh my God, how would I ever get Human Centipede 2 past the censor bots. Like, I don't know that I can do it. Yeah, I would like to. Somebody just asked me about, hang on here. We did the jump again with the chat. Maybe it's because I have the chat like popped out. Do you have the same problem with Blumhouse? I haven't done any. Have I done a Blumhouse? I don't think I've done a Blumhouse film to find out. I would assume that maybe I would, although I would also assume that it might be easier to work around because I know people at Blumhouse. So if there were a problem there, I would at least have someone to go to and say like, hey, what are you doing? So I don't think I've had an experience with them yet. I can tell you the worst of the worst is Lionsgate, followed closely by Sony. They do not respect fair use for the most part. And so it just, it pisses me off, and you piss me off and I go, well, I'm taking my ball and going home. And I'm like, because like at the end of the day, I'm promoting their films, right? Doing this, like, yeah, I make some ad money off of it and donations or whatever, but I also do a lot of work. And I also put in the videos, I tell you where you can go buy it, or I put a link to go buy it, or, you know, I tell you it's out on disc if it's just come out or whatever. So I'm promoting their films. And like, I don't have this is not a small audience. It's 50,000 people. So, and if you don't want that and you're going to then let me promote your film and then try to take the money from it, fuck you. I'm not doing it. So this video is getting demonetized because I have sweared way too much tonight. So all right, what else have we got here? They really, the Chrome Skull movies really don't get enough love. Like and here's why, like and this is what kills me about Lionsgate is they'll do that to me, but they'll take the Lionsgate is notorious for going out and buying the rights to movies like Murder Set Pieces or Laid to Rest or the Legend of the one with Jenna Jameson in it in Ireland. That one, and then they butcher them for release. They chop them to hell to where they make no sense. They take 20 minutes out because they don't want to release it uncut. And then they put them out and they don't, then they don't even keep them in print. Like I don't even think there's a Blu-ray of Chrome Skull of Laid to Rest, either of them. There might be, I don't know, but like they're not super easy to find last time I looked. So it's like they want, but if you talk about them and you show any footage, they want to copyright claim you over it. And I just don't get it. So 6 Killer Cutler 6. I do like metal, although I'm a hip hop guy. So, you know, like I'm not like as knowledgeable about metal as I am about rap music. Yeah, I don't have a good answer there. You put me on a spot with that one. I could have just scrolled past it though. So I hope we get points for not just scrolling past it. Have you ever watched Doom Asylum? Yes, a long time ago. And I see it's like out on disc again now. So I should revisit it because I don't remember jack about it. Piz, yes, thank you. Yeah, content creator. Like I'm a writer professionally. Like that's what I've been my whole career. I wrote about films, I've written books, I've written all kinds of stuff. And like to call it content just and I know why they do it. They do it because it's like an easy way to devalue what creatives make. And then corporate people go, well, you're a content creator, so I don't have to pay you because you're just making content. And who even knows what that is, right? So then they go like, well, I don't have to pay you very much because anybody can make content. You're just filling space. And yeah, it drives me nuts. We watch for the epic beard. This beard needs a trim, guys. I gotta tell you, it's out of control. It's a little out of control. Uh-oh, I saw a Rock Him in there. I gotta find that one. If you're gonna give me a Sam Hay, yeah. which is Sam Hay, but it's like technically Samhain or whatever. Because I'm Irish, we have to get it right. Hey Zach, have a good night, man. That's the one. I saw that, like, the director sent me a work print of that film that's not even complete. Like, it doesn't have all the effects in it or all the sound cues or anything. And I almost did a video about it because I wanted to do like a sort of comparison to show you how Lionsgate butchers movies. Like, why buy them if you're going to butcher it, right? Like, why spend the money to buy this movie from this guy, his hard work, and then shred it, and then it goes out into the world and everybody's like, oh, this movie sucks because, it's all butchered. It doesn't make sense, but you didn't see the film the guy made because Lionsgate chopped 20 minutes out of it. So I wanted to do a video sort of comparing the two, and then I'd get double copyright claimed on it. So, right? That's a double win. Oh, it's a cool G rap. Hippie Doof. That's a good question. I think it's Rakim is 1 and Kane is 1B and G-Rap is there in the top 5. Like, if we were doing my top 5, which rotates, it's Rakim, it's Kane, it's Grandmaster Kaz, Black Thought, and then you got some flexible stuff there. It could be KRS-One, it could be Cool G-Rap. I think most days for me, I probably give the nod to G-Rap. But yeah, those guys are my guys. That's my guys. Like, if we're going into hip hop battle, MC battle, that's my 5. Yeah, Ben, that's it. I do this. Like, I do this for love. I'm not getting rich doing this channel. Nobody who makes movie videos on YouTube at our level is getting rich. Maybe I imagine James is doing great because he's got 5 million subs. But the rest of us, we're doing this, a lot of it out of love. Like, we love the stuff, we love the movies, we love the people who watch this stuff. We want to expose people to it, and I'm trying to get people to buy this stuff. So, yeah, and so they're like, to find this sort of extra greed, and that's what it is. It's greed. It's greed from the companies. Because they just, copyright law is broken and they take advantage of it. And like 98% of YouTube copyright claims are never disputed. And so it's free money. Like, it's free money for them. And so there's no penalty for when they're wrong. Like, I had a company claim The Burning, who was a company that made a film from Korea called Burning. They knew it wasn't the same movie. And I fought them on it, and I won in the end. But there were no repercussions for them for claiming that movie, even though they knew I wasn't covering their movie. So, system's broken. Oh, Mark. I have not seen The Treatment, Mark C, but thank you for the super chat. Should I see it? When was it made? What is it about? Because that name does not sound familiar to me. Is there a movie about a killer piñata? Yes, I believe there is. Dante, I know all kinds of publishing companies. Yeah. I'll be honest. If in this day and age, there is a lot to be said for Kindle publishing and going that route, because when you publish with a traditional publisher, you get an advance, and then you have to like sell enough books to cover that advance. And then after you sell enough books to cover that advance, when you sell more books, you get a tiny portion of that money. If you Kindle publish, which can be, an ebook, but can also be a physical book, you get like a better split, and you get the money off each copy, and it's a better amount per copy. Like, if you published a hardcover book with a big 5 publisher, I think you make like $1 a book after you earn out your advance. So like, if they give you a $20,000 advance, you have to sell like 20,000 books before you start making any more money. And if you don't sell 20,000 books, they lost money on that advance, and then they kind of don't want to publish you again. So the e-publishing is something I struggle with, because I look at it and go like, well, that feels like self-publishing, but it's really not. And the margin is better. So if you have an audience, it's definitely something to consider. Or if you're willing to spend the time to, promote the book, because here's the thing, even if you publish with a traditional publisher, they're not going to promote your book very well. They just don't do that anymore. They buy a lot of books and they throw them out there and just let them sink or swim. So a lot of book success now is how much you promote it. So with Kindle or, those kind of platforms, the Kindle has like the best margin, but you guys do that. It's a better profit for you if you can move books. That's my advice on that. Look at that. Look at it. Look at this. You're getting publishing advice tonight. Toto, Die Hard, Halloween 3. This is a stream of a lifetime. You've gone full Scott Ian with the beard. Yeah. Or Kerry King. Hey, Rick, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate you coming by. James, that is a solid list. I like that list. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not talking about Tupac. Grand Poobah, super underrated. Have you ever worked on a film set? Only on like a little tiny indie film. And I mean, I was on Beat the Geek, so that was a TV set, but I was like talent, so I wasn't like working as a stagehand or anything like that. Favorite Jason actor? I mean, God, it's got to be Kane Hodder, right? I mean, that's the obvious choice. If you wrote your own horror movie, what subgenre would you make? Full Moon asks. I would, I don't know. That's a good one. Like, so I would like to do a slasher because, that's 80s wheelhouse type thing. And I think it would be fun. Like the beauty of the slashers is that you kind of get to create a whole mythology for your killer. And like, if you were smart enough to actually do that ahead of time. We got a cameo from my dog back there. Odin peeking in the room. First time he's ever been on the show. I keep trying to get him to come on. He doesn't do it. So probably a slasher because you can just do so much stuff with that. Like if you were prepared to do it beforehand, type thing where you could actually plan out the backstory instead of making a slasher film and then trying to retcon the entire origin story in 6 sequels later, like everybody does. Soldier Samurai, well, thank you. I try to be a help in collecting films, and I'm glad I can help you find stuff like Gutterballs and Headless, especially Headless, because Headless is one of those things that did not have a big print run. Like I literally had to buy it from the producer direct, and he's like running out of copies, and I think that's one of those things that once they're out of copies, it's just kind of gone. Like, so if you want a copy of that, you should get it. Lionsgate does need an introduction to the pimp hand. Like for real. Horror Geek t-shirts. Yeah. Merch. Designs. I got them. Time is the problem. Time. Real Killer D. Some of my books. I contributed to Butcher Knives and Body Counts, which you can no longer get, and it's very expensive. First novel is done. It has not been purchased. I had an issue with agents and things like that. So as soon as it's ready to come out in the world, I will let you all know so you can check it out. It's pretty cool. Pretty good book, I think. Although I might be biased. Oh, Mario, which Final Fantasy Online? 14 or 11? Have a good night, man. Chuck, I'm all about the original Maniac. Like I saw the Elijah Wood remake when it came out and I did not particularly care for it. I'd like to go back and revisit it because I suspect I would like it more now that time has passed. When it first came out, I thought it was it wasn't bad, but I just love Lustig and Spinell's Maniac so much that it's just one of those movies I didn't want to see someone else try to do. And so, yeah, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't think it's bad, but yeah, I'd like to revisit it. And we'll probably do it on the show if it's not a Lionsgate film. publishing houses are for prestige, Tony. And thanks for coming by, man. But you know what? Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm a vain man. And so there's a certain amount of prestige. Like I need a certain amount of kissing my ass. If I'm going to write a book, I need someone to come kiss my butt about it a little bit. And, you know, like, so I can go to a cocktail party and be like, oh yes, I'm published at Penguin or Random House. So yeah. Yeah. Which is why I tell people, don't be like me. If you have a book, there's a great margin to publish it yourself, and you're going to do a lot of the work anyway, and you can still go into traditional publishing from Amazon or Kindle or for those places. James Sarno, Ultramagnetic are badass as well. So funny thing about that, like I have a sort of hip hop litmus test that I, you know, like people would used to, you know, cause I was such a fucking dick that people would come up to me and be like, I love hip hop. And you know, and you go like, oh really? So who's your top 5 or, you know, who's your top 10? And if they didn't have, you know, like their top 10 albums, if Critical Beatdown is not in your top 10 hip hop albums, I wasn't taking you seriously. I have grown up since then. But that is a great album, and Ultramagnetic is classic. So when do you think you'll get around to Inferno? As soon as I do Suspiria. Sometime after I do Suspiria. Suspiria might happen in October. Like it was for sure happening in October, and now I've kind of changed my mind, but it still might happen in October. Favorite mixed cocktail or drink? I love vodka, so I love screwdrivers, which is so basic, right? But yeah. And hip hop guy, I will drink gin and grapefruit juice like there's no tomorrow. And kamikazes. Andrea Schnoss's flicks. Yeah, no, because of the gore. Like, this pains me to say, like, whenever somebody asks me about these films, like, you run a show called Sick Flicks and you're not going to do movies because they're too gory, but YouTube will just, like, how can I do violent shit in my style on YouTube? If you've seen violent shit, like, what do I get? Like, what do I get from that film that gets on the screen? So Synthetic, that's true. And someone asked about Red Letter Media earlier. Yes, I do watch them. I only discovered them recently, though. Like, the algorithm pointed them out to me. Somehow I had missed them all this time. So those guys are smart and funny. I like them. But yeah, it's hard to find stuff that isn't covered somewhere at this point. That's very true. And that's a good problem to have because like you know, at the end of the day, it's not about me covering stuff that nobody else has ever heard of. I want people to know about this stuff, and I can't get to all of it because I'm too slow. So, you know, if Piz or Cinema's Underbelly or all these other channels, Red Letter Media, Brandon Tennell, Decker, Cinema Snob, if those guys are covering the stuff, great. I want you to find these movies, and like sooner or later I'll do my take on them, but God, you know, let's just get people to find this stuff. And this is why I love, you know, Severin's doing great work. Vinegar Syndrome's doing great work. Scream Factory. They find a lot of movies, like especially Vinegar Syndrome and Severin find a lot of movies I never thought we'd see on disc. Like, like every time their releases come out, I'm like, Jesus, I'm so glad we're going to finally have this on disc, because that means I can get rid of this crappy old bootleg I've had for 20 years on VHS. So Richard Krantz, thank you so much for the super chat. No question. You get the super chat. You got to ask a question, man. Get your money's worth. All right. I like me a Shirley Temple. So yeah, I'm Irish, right? Irish and Scottish. And yeah, so I can put away a little booze. Constantine, who's here, I don't know if he's still here. We had a night where we had quite the bar tab last time we went out, like 8 or 10 years ago. So do you have a favorite black and white horror movie? Yeah, Haunting of Hill House is definitely in the running. I mean, Psycho, like Yeah, there's I love I love all that William Castle stuff. So yeah, that's a good choice. I think I caught up with chat. You guys must be tired. I kept you all up too late. So too much Toto. Irish represent, right? There are still Brackens back in the mother country. There is no film I would never watch because I think it's too sick. Yeah, I don't have that line. I knew that like puking is a thing for me. So Slaughtered Vomit Dolls and Lucifer Valentine's Vomit trilogy was going to be difficult, but yeah, I watched it anyway. I'm all for the endurance. So if it's an endurance that if it's a challenge, I'm in. Like if it's so disturbing, I'm there. Hey, good luck with the packing. That's rough, man. Moving is the worst. Hey, Farrah, thank you for coming, man, and have a good night. Worst horror movie I've ever seen. I honestly don't know. I've seen Manos without the Mystery Science Theater treatment, which is pretty rough. But I've seen some direct to video stuff that's just atrocious. Things that just had no business being filmed. And it's funny because Things, I like Things, but Things is a terrible movie. So there are worse out there. So Toto Die Hard 3 Halloween's Revenge. Irish and Scott. Yes, Freddie. Yeah. The beard. Yeah. Plus it's my little homage. I'm not a Viking, but I'm a power lifter and we're all honorary Vikings. So we all have to grow big beards. It's like national law. Mr. Zombie Joe, I don't know how many I own at this point because I used to have this massive collection, like one of those, gigantic rooms spanning, taking over your house collections. And then I moved back to Florida. And when I moved back, it was like, I didn't want to move at all because I also have a ton of books and a just metric shit ton of video games. So I downsized the movie collection. So Dante, I'm glad I can answer that for you. If you have any others, let me know and have a good night, man. But yeah, so I downsized a ton. So the collection now is not impressive. The game collection is impressive and the book collection is pretty nice, but the movie collection is a shadow of what it once was. And but it's kind of growing again because I keep buying stuff for the show. But yeah. I did. Sad Seal. I absolutely did Premutos. That was Olaf Ittenbach. That was the same guy, Beyond the Limits. They just won't let me do them now. It's one thing if they if they would just demonetize them, but they don't just demonetize them. Then they age gate them and make them 18 plus. And when they make them 18 plus, nobody ever sees them. They're just dead. So it's yes, Donald, we have talked about Malignant at length. The short answer is I haven't seen it yet. Chris, thank you. I'm glad you're having a good time, man. Yes, I have seen Jake West's Evil Aliens and Doghouse. Evil Aliens is an incredibly underrated gore flick. It's gory and it's fun. And I'm always astonished more people don't talk about it. Doghouse is pretty good too. But yeah, if you've never seen Evil Aliens, you should probably check it out. which 80s wrestler would you rumble with? Dusty Rhodes. Me and the American Dream. Yeah, this beard, man, you gotta, people come up to me and ask me, how do I grow my beard that long? And I'm like, you just gotta pet it at night and say nice things to it and encourage it and it'll grow. Oh, Mark, did I miss your super chat? Hang on. Oh, I did, didn't I? Did I miss one? All right, Mark, hit me with it in regular chat. I'm going to keep an eye out for it. Just spam it until I see it. What games do you play now? Today, so funny. Yeah. Today I played a lot of games. I was playing Hades on my PS5, even though I played the hell out of it on Switch and really liked it. And then I said I bought it on PS5 because I also own it on PC for some reason. And Paul, thank you. And thanks for staying up till 4:30 with me. Hades, because I wanted the achievements, the trophies. But I've also been playing so dumb. Like I have an obsession with Phantasy Star Online. Like I still play. It's 20 years old and I still play. Diablo 2 I will be playing. I'm not playing yet. I got to pick it up. So 6 Killer Color 6. I'm glad I can answer your questions and come by for the next one. We'll be doing more. So ninth configuration is incredibly underrated, Mark C. And I am so sorry I missed your super chat. I will, next time we do this, I will try not popping the chat out and I will just look off screen to see the chat. Like it doesn't seem to bother anyone when I do that. So, yeah, ninth configuration is like one of those really good underrated horror films that I recommend to people all the time and then they don't go watch. But I love it. True sequel to The Exorcist. That's it's a good flick, like really worth seeing. What's your take on Haxan? Like the silent film? It's cool. The witchcraft movie? That's like with the William Burroughs narration. I dig that thing. I haven't seen it in a long time, but like I watched it one night when I was drinking and it was great. Oh my God. You got to see Burning Moon in a theater? I'm jealous. Like I'm so pissed that I can't do Burning Moon and Beyond the Limits and all that. Matthew Mancini, yes. Mother's Day is one that I have thought about doing. It's on the list. I just haven't made it. I actually played Eternal Sonata, but I played it on 360. It was a good RPG. I like Tri-Ace games. Aussie Rules, yes. Monster Dog, of course, because Monster Dog was directed by Claudio Fragasso. So, of course, we're doing that one. It also has my favorite. It is my favorite Chaz Balin review ever. And the review in its entirety is Monster Dog. Title tells all with Alice Cooper. Fuck it. So, yes, definitely happening. Mario, thank you so much. Hello from Florida. I have a lot of friends who live in Austin. I really need to come to Austin and hang out sometime. Doing a day of campy movie reviews. Yeah, like John Waters, I would love to do. My concern with that always is like the algorithm. Because there are movies, I'd probably be okay. Like it just goes, oh, these are all movie reviews. But sometimes like when you start straying from what the algorithm thinks is your content, there's that content word again. They, like they don't push those videos because they act like they don't know what to do with them. So I'm always a little bit afraid of that. Does your wife like your beard? No. She is not a fan. I mean, she doesn't hate it, but she would like it to be a lot shorter. Creep with yes, I've seen that in the subway. Boy, that's a blast from the past. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Do you think Frontiers is a good movie to watch with the wife and kids? The wife, sure. How old are the kids, Squirrelbo? Bobby Johnson, Hades is hella dope, man. That game is like, it's so funny because like I said, I've been all the way through it. I turned up I got out of Hades. I went through multiple times. I saw all the story. I cranked up all the difficulty for the extra challenge and all that stuff. But I'm back playing it. It's fun. And it's just like one of those games where you're like playing it and you're like, oh, I screwed up. One more run. And then it's like 6 hours later. So I really do love it. And yes, the freaking algorithm is the worst. Oh, Freddie, I played the hell out of Diablo 3 and then I quit because in typical fashion, they nerfed my class and I didn't want to play anything else a couple years ago. So yeah, this is my problem with Diablo is like they always as soon as I find something I love, like playing in a build I like, they always nerf it, and then I don't want to start over. Red Brown is coming soon, Chuck. Yeah. It's a Bruno Mattei Fragasso joint he's in, I think. So he will be making his Sick Flicks debut at some point. I am the Ice Lord. Yeah. Sometimes I think they wish they could delete my videos, and they probably could, except I just tell them I'll just re-upload them all on another channel. So my favorite weapon in Hades, I like the chain gun thing. That's the one I'm the best with. And I forget which aspect because I'm back at the beginning and I don't have all the stuff unlocked yet. But I like the bow too, with like the Hera aspect, I think, where you can, you know, the bolts all shoot out. The special is the bolts all shoot out together, like targeted. Sheep shears. Yes, I have played Manhunt. I actually wrote about Manhunt like when it came out years ago for a gaming site, and about how it ties into, like, you know, Manson and, you know, film culture and all that, which was one of my favorite things. And Pigsy is just freaky, and I still love him. Joe D, thank you, man. I have been a wrestling fan since I was a kid in the 80s. Like, I found pro wrestling on a Saturday afternoon after cartoons ended, when the WWF was still like a regional promotion in the Northeast. And I saw Sergeant Slaughter and I saw Andre the Giant. And as soon as I saw Andre the Giant, I was hooked. Like I'm like, I must have been like 10 years old. And just, that was the beginning of a love of pro wrestling that lasted until about 2000, and then I kind of fell off. Druid level 15. Man, you're cruising along. Hey, John Blues, how are you doing? Thanks for coming by. CZ guy, thanks, man. I'm trying to keep up the good work. Some weeks it's hard, man. I'll be honest. Like, I do the videos and I'm my own worst critic, and there are a lot of weeks where I'm like, God, this video sucks, but you guys like them, so I'm not objective. Like, I'm too close to them. So as long as you guys like them, I'm happy. Mark C, that's a great question. Why was Fulci obsessed with eyes? There's a lot of debate about that, because a lot of the eye violence in Fulci's films was written in the scripts, which Fulci did not write, which were written by Dardano Sacchetti. So some have argued that the giving Fulci all the credit for the eye violence is only partially accurate, because Dardano Sacchetti actually probably had a fetish for eye violence. So Matthew Mancini, you should do a review of only films you've seen in the theater. That's interesting. But here's the problem. I've seen a lot of films in the theater because A, I managed theaters in college, and B, I lived in the Bay Area and I spent like every day at the UC Berkeley seeing weird movies. CZ guy. Yeah. Like, the outtakes are funny because, like, there's the outtakes are not, they're real. Like, those are my real reactions. And I just cut, like, sometimes I will flub a line and then I'll curse and I'll say something funny, or I'll say something and then there's a gap and then I say something else. And so I cut them so that you don't have to watch me like reset the teleprompter before the next funny comment comes. But, yeah, but there are weeks where I flub lines or something doesn't come out right or whatever, where it comes through in the outtakes that I'm just really annoyed. I have a low tolerance for annoyance. I'm an easily frustrated guy. Donald, I thank you. I try to know a lot about these movies. I've been talking about them long enough, that's for sure. We ever cover Wrestlers versus... I've never seen it, Joe. I need to find this. I'd like to hear about your love for hip hop. What would you like to hear about it? I love it. Eye Violence is a good band name. Brutal Eye Violence should have been like a death metal band or something. So I would have absolutely would have supported them. just click? There we go. I'm clicking stuff at random over here. Yeah, Philippe. I hope I said that right. I have thought of reviewing games because I wrote about films. I wrote about horror films for my whole career, but I've also written about games at a whole lot of places, and I play a ton of games. And I would like to do a channel. I would like to do something with video games, and I don't know what it is as far as a channel. I don't have time as far as a channel goes, and I just, it's a crowded niche, and I just haven't figured out the angle. Like, I could make jokes about games because God, game writing is terrible sometimes. So, but I don't know. Yes, I'm a fan of Nas, but here's the problem with Nas, because you knew there was going to be a problem, right? Because nothing can ever be simple. Nas's Illmatic is a 5 microphone album. It earned 5 mics from the source. It deserved every one of them. It's a classic. It's got great production. It's got Premiere production. It's got Q-Tip. It's got Large Professor. It's a great album. The problem is that after that, Nas did not recruit all these super producers for his future albums. And he has the same problem Eminem has, in that he never met a terrible beat he didn't love. Like, Nas's rhymes are so much better than the beats he rhymes over that it's a tragedy. And it's really funny that you brought this up, because Premiere has been doing this show on YouTube for like the last 6 or 8 weeks, where he does one video a week where he talks about a track that he did production for. And he did Nas like a week ago, and he made this fascinating and totally correct point. He said that the problem with Nas at that time was that Nas worked with Large Pro when he started his career. Like, we put him on Live at the Barbecue. That was the first time we heard Nas. The "What the hell for Snuffing Jesus" line blew everybody's mind, right? And the problem was that Large Pro was his guy, like the guy who should have guided his career as a producer, and Nas went his own way. And he compared it to being like how Premiere and Guru and Gangstar worked together all those years, and Premiere guided the music and Guru did the rhymes. And if Large Pro had been the Premiere to Nas's Guru, Nas's career would have been even better. And that's all I got to say about that. And A Tribe Called Quest. Yeah, Tribe is my top seed. I'm like the biggest Tribe fan, man. So, yeah, video game stuff would be great. Like, it's just one of those things, like, the niche is competitive. It's a lot of work on top of a lot of work I already have, and I don't want to do something that's just like everybody else does. So Bumpy Knuckles, aka Freddie Fox. Yeah, totally underrated, that dude. Bumpy Knuckles is a guy. Bumpy Knuckles is one of those guys like Just Ice. Like, there are studio gangsters who talk a lot of shit and rhyme and make up a bunch of stuff. And then there are guys like, if you saw on the street, you would not mess with them. Bumpy Knuckles is that dude. Plus, the best part of that was that, he should have been, he was going to take Rakim's slot, and he didn't show up. So, Brandon Fernandez, what are you bored about? Didn't Mobb Deep kill Biggie? Oh my God. Mike swears at games you like. That's it. Yeah. That's the show. That's all we need. Actually, it could just be Mike sits around in Juno and Final Fantasy 11 and makes fun of people's usernames. So that used to be a good time. Hey, Zombie 69. I am indeed a hip hop geek. When I went to do Beat the Geeks for the test, they had a hip hop geek, and they said, just for shits and giggles, we'll take the hip hop test. And I scored higher than the hip hop geek they'd hired, but they'd already hired him. I could have been 2 geeks. Wendy's $1 Frosties. Oh my God. Who are my weightlifting idols? My favorite strongman is Eddie Hall. I love Eddie Hall. Will I do Giallo? The Argento one? Yes. And that's going to be a funny video. I did not get any of the Tribes vans. No. Jason, powerlifting, as I had mentioned earlier, if you weren't here, is kind of in a weird holding pattern because of injuries. Your favorite Leprechaun movie? 3 is the best. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. You met Michael Berryman. Dude, I'd like to meet Michael Berryman. I've never met him. Yeah, I love Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall's, like Eddie Hall. What kills me about Strongman is like Strongman was at this period a couple years ago where they had all these guys who had personalities and they didn't do anything with them. Like Eddie Hall is a star. Thor is interesting. Like here was their opportunity to make the sport better and they didn't do it. I have not covered Death by Temptation. I know it. I like it. I have never done it though. Better movie music, Goblin. Like I love Carpenter. Like, do not get me wrong. That's like asking, to pick your favorite kid, Goblin or Carpenter. But Goblin is just like amazing. Like the body of work. And this is not to take anything away from Carpenter's, but like Carpenter's one guy, Goblin's a whole group. And had all that conflict of groups and Argento and, like they worked in Italy, which was way harder. So, but yeah, I love both. Mike's gone digital. Thank you, man. Definitely try your hand. Like I tell people all the time, like if you want to try YouTube, you should try YouTube. It's hard and go in with realistic expectations. That like, you're not going to launch your first video and get 1 million subscribers and 3 million views, but like, see if you like it, just try it out. And if you don't like it, no big deal. Don't do it, but give it some time and test it out and play around with it and see if you find something you like to do. Cause it's fun. If you like it, like it's a cool thing to have a certain amount of success at. Like a lot of people want to do it and can't, or aren't good at doing it, but you don't like, be patient, try it out, and understand that there's a big learning curve. Like I'm an idiot and I did it, so you probably do it. Tangerine Dream is another great one. Shoot me movie reviews. Yeah. And like, so this is my problem with YouTube. You're 2 years old and you have 200K views and you go, that's very little, but because YouTube skews everyone's concept of numbers, and it's not even accurate how it skews everyone's concept of numbers. Like if you have 50,000 subs on YouTube, people who watch a lot of YouTube think you're like maybe a mid-sized channel, but statistically less than only 1% of channels ever get to 50,000. Like only 10% get to 1,000. So everybody's like, oh, you're small, you're not big unless you have 1 million. Those 1 million sub channels are a very tiny percentage of YouTube. And if you think about it, like 200,000 views, you go like, oh, well, I don't have millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of views. But if you told someone who wrote books that they'd get 200,000 people to read their book, they'd die of excitement. Like that's a big number. That's like 4 football stadiums worth of people. So don't ever go like, oh, I've only had 200,000 views or something like that. Most people who do this will never get 10,000 views. So if you do it and you like it and stick with it and all that and have fun with it, that's great. And 200,000 is nothing to sneeze at. David Lynch, Lost Highway. Man, I love Lost Highway. I am not like the world's biggest Lynch fan, but I do really like Lost Highway. Yeah, a Soldier Samurai makes a point. Like, I do not agree that all of the good channels only have that and that the bigger ones are all clickbaiters. But there are a lot of channels that figure out ways to manipulate the algorithm. And the algorithm is a lot harder to manipulate now than it used to be, but it's still doable. And sometimes, some of the channels some channels are just not destined to have a million subs. My channel probably isn't destined to have a million subs. Like, there's a lot of luck and it's not all luck, but there's a lot of luck and there's a lot of things have to line up right, and you have to be personable and appeal to a wide base. And so, but just not everybody can be Mr. Beast and shouldn't want to be. You can do very well on YouTube with way fewer subs than even I have. Like, if you position yourself well and you do merch and Patreon and you don't get demonetized on all your videos because you are an idiot who decided to do gore movies, you can do really well. But it's just the site skews everyone's sense of numbers and scale. Like, you don't have to have a million subs. Todd Roll, thank you. Someone asked if I'd seen Cemetery Man. Yes, I love Cemetery Man. Arguably my favorite zombie movie. So yeah, there's definitely times people on YouTube that will pay for views. They're pay for subs, sub for sub. Attic Dwellers is here. Holy mackerel. Guys, Tig's channel is great. Go check it out. Fantastic. No, she does not, hippie doof. Do Do I think YouTube will be my full-time career one day? I have no idea. Sometimes I don't even know if I'd want it to be, like, cause I'm too antsy, and you start like looking at that and going like, oh, like money fluctuates from month to month, and it's a level of stress that I don't know that I could deal with. Like every month, like fretting over, I already fret over numbers and analytics. And if I needed that money, like to live, it would stress me out. So favorite Tribe album is Low End Theory, Dan. Midnight Marauders is a close second. Delamore, I can't even say it. Yes, Cemetery Man, as we dumb Americans call it. Yeah, I do like Nightbreed. Nightbreed is like one of those movies that's like oddly underrated because he can get to make the movie he wanted, and then it took forever to get to it. Oh, thanks, Tig. I appreciate that, man. You would Attic Dwellers does a lot of great like retro nostalgia stuff. Like, if you guys would love it because you like my crap. So they do like lots of rewinds and go back and talk about things from like the 80s that we all grew up with that we forgot about. So that's a great channel. You should go check them out. I did do Phenomena already. I appreciate that, Eric. Oh, thank you, Denise. I am pretty cool. Mind Decay. I will listen to death metal, but I am not an aficionado. I'm absolutely more of a hip hop guy. You should see the Cabal cut. It's it's better. It's not perfect, but it's really interesting to kind of see what he was going for. Oh, Island of Dr. Moreau. Like that's a whole series of videos about what went wrong there. Yes, Shoot Me movie reviews. Definitely check them out. Yeah, Joe, I watch Spooky. Spooky's giving me some shout outs, man. I love Spooky. Spooky's one of those guys that, like, I told him, I'm like, if you're ever in Florida, you gotta come hang out at the house or something. So I love that guy. Like it's been so much fun, Like there's like sometimes YouTubers are petty and jealous of each other and stuff like that. I've never been like that because I'm old and I don't care. Like I have a whole career and all this stuff, but Spooky is like, it's been so much fun to watch that guy's channel explode, and he never shows his face. And I'm like, I bet people wish I'd never showed my face. Hit by a bus and I'm doing just fine. Thank you. It's funny. I picked Wednesday because I was like egotistical enough to go like, well, if people like this show, Wednesday's a crappy day and maybe this will make it better for them. I'm glad it worked. Yeah, I'd like to do the house that Jack built. I don't know when I'll get to it though. Austin, yeah, Spooky's giving me a couple shout outs. I'm incredibly appreciative of that. I think his audience is a little younger than, for me. Like I bet a lot of them come here and don't get what I do, but I am incredibly appreciative. That guy, he is a very nice guy. I would, and he's funny because he's kind of a mystery. Like he's a mystery even to me. Like I have had very limited contact with him. Like we've never had like a real conversation or anything like that. But I'd like to, but he's busy with school and stuff. So Andy at Stitch Together Picks, that dude is amazing. That guy's videos are just like that whole setup is brilliant. I am envious of how good he is, and why that dude does not have like 500,000 or 1 million subs is a mystery. Although I will say it looked like when I found him, he came back and like he had been gone. He hadn't made a video in like 3 years, it looked like, and he came back and just picked right up. So my max bench is 360. And it was 360 and it was trending up. Like I was on pace for a big, like at the end of the cycle for the next peak, I was poised for probably 390, 395. Like I was doing really well, and bench is my worst lift. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad people are always like, you remind me of someone, and it's a friend they had or something like that, which is awesome because I'm glad you had cool friends because I'm cool. Yeah, Stitch Together Picks, man. Like his videos are so good. Like they're so well done. Like my videos are crap. Like I'm an idiot. Like I stand at a podium. I have terrible lighting. My mic sounds like shit. I stumble over lines, and that guy is so good. Like his videos just, yeah, it's amazing to me he hasn't blown up. Lynn, thank you. I did see it. I'm glad YouTube recommended me to you. Thoughts on the Hellraiser series? It's a quick drop off after 2. It's a quick drop off. Like Matza, I get it. Like my videos are, they're all right, but I, like I'm a perfectionist. I have pretty high standards when I do something, and I am never happy with anything I do. And I look at there are a lot of YouTubers, like the YouTube game is serious now. And, like you got guys with fancy setups and green screens and crazy sets and fancy editors and all that. And I'm literally a one-man show. Like there's me and Chris, my buddy Chris helps me write some jokes. He writes a script draft with me, and, but like, this set is not impressive. Like this set, like the podium's cool, but nothing else is cool. The lighting's a disaster. I got light bleed all over the place. The sound is sometimes a mess, as we have discussed earlier. And yeah, I just like I want the show to be better. I want it to look better. And so when I see someone like Andy who does Stitch Together Picks, he has a really nice setup. He films everything edited well. Everything looks great. And I'm like, I just want things to look better. That's all. It's not me being hard on myself. I just want things to be better. That's all. It's not like I'm going to go like, oh, this sucks, I'm going to quit because the videos don't look like somebody else's. But, you want them to look nice. And part of that is, part of this is by design. Like, I never wanted it to look too fancy because the show is designed to be an homage to the old horror hosts, and they didn't have fancy. They had crazy cheap looking sets. And so I always wanted kind of a cheap looking set, but I would like it to look better. That's all. The posters are cool. They were just a placeholder though, because, they're just, I will sit around and overthink things and never start. So the posters were the solution to, like, I couldn't decide what the set should be. So we'll put the posters up, and then while I figure it out so I can start making videos. And here we are almost 3 years later, and the posters are still up. Welcome back, Zach. Jeff, no artist is happy with their art. YouTube game is a rigged thing. I agree. Like, yeah, like the second, like I'm a creative, and the second I'm happy with something, I'm concerned. I'm like, well, if I'm happy, like the things as a writer, when I write something and if I walk away from it and I go, ooh, that was great after I wrote it, when I come back to it 2 days later, invariably it's not that great. But when I walk away from something and think it's terrible, it's usually not terrible either. So, this is just the way I'm wired, man. And yeah, yes, Eve, artists are hard on themselves, and that's it. Like I'm a YouTuber, but in reality, I'm a writer, and I've worked in, and been involved in the film industry on the periphery for a long time. So, oh no, we're not going slick. Don't think we're going slick. We're not doing that. We're not getting rid of the bloopers or any of that. So it's just like, I would like the set to look better. That's all. I would like a better design, and I have someone who's going to, work with me on that, but who knows how long I will be, because I'm good about planning things and not so much the execution. London After Midnight, Richard. Like there's no way the day the clown died will ever live up to what it is in my head at this point. The Gary Coleman gag in Phantasm is, honest to God, my favorite joke in the history of sick flicks. It is the most perfect joke I have ever written. The podium isn't going anywhere, Jeff. The podium is absolutely staying. Oh, Todd, tell her thank you for that for me. I appreciate that. That's another thing. Like, I want to expose people to movies they haven't seen, but the other thing is that I always like to kind of make it like, if you don't like gore movies, I'm going to try to like get you to watch it through me and laugh and see that, like, well, maybe I don't want to see the whole thing, but this is still pretty entertaining. I am the Ice Lord. Any words of advice you can lend a struggling YouTuber like me? If I knew how you were struggling exactly, I could offer you tons of advice. Drop me an email, and I will let me know what you're struggling with, and I will help you out. Opinions on the dog flashback. This is funny. I would love to do a Hills Have Eyes 2 review just to rag and make jokes on the dog flashbacks. That is the worst idea in the history of screenwriting. I am pretty funny. But I'm a funny, like, I don't know. I'm always very self-deprecating. I'm funny in a way, like I'm an acquired taste funny. Like I'm like, and again, it makes sense that I love Mystery Science Theater, because I'm kind of like Mystery Science Theater funny. Like, if you're kind of nerdy and you like weird pop culture references, I'm like Mystery Science Theater meets Dennis Miller, because I'll make weird pop culture references, and I don't care if most people get them because they amuse me, but if you get them, that makes you cool. So, yeah, Merlin, don't you know about the dog flashbacks in The Hills Have Eyes too? Like the dog gets flashback scenes. The dog has flashbacks. Well, thank you, Eve. KJ, look, I am glad I could introduce people to Night Killer. Like if I die tomorrow, knowing that people found Night Killer because of me is good enough. Driller Killer. Yeah, I'd like to do Driller Killer. Joe, I am off the cuff funny. I am both. Like, so Sick Flicks is a lot of observations, but they take a long time to write because there's an expectation of how many jokes I have to have in a script and all that, and puns and things like that. So but I have good sense of timing in that I will know there's a joke there. So, sometimes it takes me longer to figure out what it is, but yeah. But like in real life, I'm pretty funny. I make a lot of goofy puns and observations and things like that, just totally on the fly. Donald, everything is coming up Millhouse. That's a Simpsons reference. Have you not seen that? Sickest movie I ever saw. Like I said, the one that makes me sick is Slaughtered Vomit Dolls. Nice fan. I don't know what I'm looking for right now. I'm sort of like, I don't know. I have to think about it. I'll get with you though. Zed, I did it as Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. Well, actually, I think I did it as one of its other titles, but yes, I have done that one. It's in the backlog. You can find it. The goriest old black and white movie. God, I don't know. Because we're all like, I mean, yeah, probably the one that sticks out like at the time were the Coffin Joe things, like at midnight, I'll take your soul. But like by today's standards, that's not gory at all. Yeah, I have a lot of repeated bits, Jason, like, and that's intentional. So the Hills Have Eyes remakes, like, yeah, I can see that because I think they're gorier and more fun. Like Craven's first Hills Have Eyes is not like a fantastic movie. It's good. I almost did it a couple weeks ago, but and Hills Have Eyes 2 is not good at all. I do not like any of Mr. Bull's horror flicks. I would have boxed him though if he'd wanted to go. Slaughter Vomit Dolls is disgusting. Everybody loves Hell Yeah Guy. Thrill House. Yeah, 120 Days of Sodom. Like, that's what I can do, I think. Like, I haven't seen it in a while, so I forget how much objectionable stuff I would have to cut around. But yeah, that's one I will definitely try at some point. My favorite horror writer. I like a lot of sort of smaller horror writers, but I'm going to go with my favorite gross out writer is probably Ed Lee. And my favorites, like I loved all the splatterpunks, Skip Inspector, David Scow, Lehman, all those guys. But I really love Joe Lansdale. Kenny Sterling, a big Owen Dukes listener. Holy shit. How you doing, man? I don't know how to talk to those guys in a while. Briston, I'd love to do a collab with Spooky Rice. Spooky is just a hard guy to get a hold of. Man, there is no way, Justin, that Slaughter Vomit Dolls is ever happening. It's impossible. Like they will not only demonetize me, they will nuke my account and have me arrested. Yes, Inside is a perfect companion for Martyrs, and you can't You can't go wrong with any of those new French Extremity films, honestly. They're all pretty entertaining. 120 Days of Sodom for you noobs. Oh, Argento or Fulci? Look, it's Argento. Like, I love Fulci. Like, that's my dude. But Argento and Fulci, the sad story of Fulci is that Fulci was a very talented director who, after Don't Torture a Duckling, kind of got blackballed because the church was unhappy with that film. And, so he never got to make films on the same level Argento did. And Argento had the bonus of having his brother and his father be producers. So he got a lot more money and he got better scripts and he had a lot more creative freedom. But nobody in horror cinema has ever had a run like Argento had from Deep Red through Opera. Like, just one banger after another, just classic flick after classic flick. And, like Fulci just, and if Fulci had the money and the backing that Argento had, maybe he'd have done something similar, because his early work is very good. And his later gore work is very good too, but it's not as polished as Argento's. I love both though. Like, you can't go wrong with either. The original Last House on the Left. Yeah, at some point, yes. Opera was good. I like Opera. I think Opera is his last great film. Like, it has problems, but it's very good. Yeah, Matza. Fulci. So when he made Don't Torture a Duckling, it was critical of the Catholic Church, which in the time in Italy was like not a good thing to do. And the story has always been that he was blackballed after that. Like, he was still allowed to work. He still made films, but he just never got back on the career trajectory he was on. And that film was a good film. So it wasn't like he made a terrible film and it derailed his career. It's he made a film that the church didn't care for, and there were repercussions for that. Chris, gory, because I don't find anything in films scary anymore. So my favorite slasher horror movie villain, I always go, like, if we're going straight slasher, I like Michael the most. Jason, I love Freddy and Jason, but Michael has the more interesting story to me, especially in the first film. He's just absolute evil, and he's got Loomis and the Season and Haddonfield and all that. So that's always my favorite. I love Cut and Run. We're going to do it soon. And House on the Edge of the Park might happen too, because Nice Fan hooked me up with a copy. Take down all the jibber jabber. VHS 2, I really like the the guy who made The Night Comes for Us, the story of the cult thing in like Indonesia. That segment's really good. Really? The Hills Run Red? That's funny because I did that. That is you, Nice Fan. Argento did do a Dracula movie, and it's terrible. I can't wait to do it. The Exorcist or The Omen? I love The Exorcist, but I can only watch The Exorcist about once every 10 years. And The Omen, I like Gregory Peck. So I kind of like The Omen more. I would like to play lots of things with viewers. Dead by Daylight or all kinds of stuff. Like, if any of you want to come play PSO. Yes, Argento made Dracula, a giant praying mantis that looks like it was like done on a PS1. Yes, Come and See is like, that's a rough movie, man. that's a movie that like you have to be prepared. Beyond the Door. I'd like to do a lot of zombie stuff. It's one of those things where it's kind of new and I'm always worried about copyright. And my thoughts about Zombie are basically that I think Rob Zombie is an interesting director. I think he has interesting ideas and he has a good visual eye. I think he has the same problem Argento has, though, in that he needs to direct, but he needs to hire someone to write for him. The writing of the scripts is not Rob's strong suit. And if he got to the point where he hired someone who could write and then he just focused on making the film, or even if he let someone polish his writing or wrote something and then put little flourishes in there, he could make something really great. And I think I like his Halloween. I think his Halloween 2 is a disaster piece, but it's a masterpiece of disaster, right? So yeah, and maybe omit his wife. I do not have the Sherry Moon zombie problem a lot of people have. Like, she can be in the movie. I just don't need her to be front and center. So, but yeah, I think it is. And Lords of Salem is amazing. Lords of Salem has some just amazing shots in it. Like, there's some really good visuals in that film. And it's the one of all the ones he's written that feels like the most restrained and controlled and all of that. But, he just needs someone to rein him in with the scripts. Yeah, it definitely feels like a Kubrick film in spots. Like, I mean, it's not a Kubrick film, but it has flourishes that you can tell. And the thing about him is he is a fan of film. Like, he is not just some rock guy who decided to make horror movies. He understands film. He understands cinematography. He understands how to work a camera. He understands shot composition. He has an eye for visual. He has an aesthetic. The problem is he's just not a writer. So I have not done Possession. Yeah, like, the dude clearly loves horror. Like, it'd be like telling me to go make a horror movie. He loves the stuff as much as I do. He just has a problem where he cannot rein himself in with the writing. Best horror film that was never made that should have been. This is funny you asked this, Merlin, because I was just talking today, like, should I do a series of like horror films that sounded awesome that never happened? Because there are a bunch of them. My vote is Del Toro's At the Mountains of Madness. Like, I really wanted to see that happen. The other one, I don't know if it would be good, but it's the one I most wanted to see, was St. John Smith, which had Roddy Piper in it, which they started shooting. And it had the dude from Korn, like, which I don't know if that would have been a good thing or not, but Piper in it, and the premise of it was pretty interesting, and it just never happened. Yeah, the Lovecraft story, Mr. Blonde. Del Toro was set to make that. He was all set. They were going to do it. It was a big studio film, and then they canceled it because whatever, it was going to cost a bunch of money, and they thought it was too much for a horror film. And then when Prometheus came out, Del Toro has said, like, well, Prometheus did all the stuff I wanted to do anyway, which I don't understand how that works, but that's what he said. So, Conrux, great for you to come. Thanks for hanging out. I've been doing this forever. I got to go to bed soon. My God, I give you guys 3 hours. Holy crap. I must like you guys. Yeah, like, a new series is, I'd like to do all kinds of things. It's time. Like, it's so hard to keep making stuff. Sinjin was spelled like SIN-JIN. But you can find like stuff about it online still. But yeah, it was Mr. Blonde. I really try. It's really hard now because I get, like, the channel has grown, but I try to at least heart them all so I saw them. But sometimes YouTube is terrible about, like, hiding comments from me. Like, I'll get a notification and it's not there, or like today I found a bunch from like 5 months ago that I never got notified of. Chris Craven. Hey, glad to do it, man. Thanks for hanging out with me. Chuck, it's almost 6:30 a.m. Lake Mungo is a really cool little film. Like, it's not for everyone, but if you get it, it's like one of those films that sticks with you. Will I ever cover Severance? I have not seen Severance in a long time, so I don't remember how gory it is. Yeah, Trick or Treat. That would be a fun one to do. The Toby Hooper Eaten Alive will happen. I just had to do the Lindsay one first because it's a cannibal film. Yeah, Two Evil Eyes just got the Blu-ray release, and that's pretty cool. Like, the Romero story is the weak link of that duo. Like, Argento's Black Cat is really cool and stylish and all that, and has some good gore. And the Romero story, as much as I love George, that story is not great. Hey, thanks, Sci-Fi Ninja Theater. Bakery opens in 40 minutes. All Elite. I don't follow modern wrestling for some reason. Yeah, Lake Mungo is hard to get today. It's weird. This live stream needs a house establishing shot. I really got to buy some J&B and put it on the set somewhere. Pineapple on pizza. I'm a firm yes. I'm sorry. I know that's a divisive topic, but I like it. Yes, Argento Suspiria. The plan was to do it next month. I don't know if that will still happen, but yes, it's coming hopefully this year, before the end of the year. Return of the Living Dead is really hard to do because it's already funny. Those ones always give me fits, like Street Trash and Bad Taste and all that, because I don't know how to, it's so hard to do that where, I can't make jokes that are funnier than what's already happening. So I know people love them, want me to do that one, but yeah. Pineapple on pizza is good. I like it. I'm a fan. It's so funny that that's so divisive now. Yeah, now we got Toto and pineapple on pizza. What a night. What are my thoughts on Begotten? I actually talked briefly about Begotten earlier. It's the weirdest movie I've probably ever seen. So it may, like, if I saw Begotten, like when I first saw Begotten, there was no breakdown of what it was supposed to mean. And so you just look at it and you go, what the hell is this? And even now, understanding what they were trying to do with it, I still don't really get that, but it's it's weird and cool. So look, I cannot condone the take a shot for every house establishing shot, because I cannot be responsible for what happens to your liver. But I will tell you that Wednesday's movie has an obscene number of house establishing shots in it. And you know what's so funny about that is, like, I don't pick the movies based on that. Like, I don't pick it based on pimp hands or J&B or house establishing shots. They just turn up in these movies. So, and I just notice them. So, best channel on YouTube. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. I don't know that I believe that, but I'm glad people think that. Justin, I'm glad I could inspire you to get back into YouTube. Yeah, just stick with it, man. Like as long as you're having fun. We have this culture now where people are like, everything you love has to be turned into a side hustle or a job or whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing YouTube just because you want to make videos or you think it's fun or you think it's cool. Like, you don't have to get 1 million subs, and you don't, like, that's not important. Like, if you're having fun with it, keep doing it. The success comes as you experiment and you practice and you get better and you learn things. Like, I still learn things about this. I don't have any clue what I'm doing. I'm just an idiot, but you get there. Like, and if, as long as it's fun, that's what matters. But don't make it a job because someone tells you, well, you'll make it if you grind, because that's dumb. Like, a lot of people grind and don't make it in their chosen field. Let's rob a bank. I'm not going to rob a bank, because I just had this discussion the other day that in America, guys rob banks and they walk away with like, at best, like $40,000. And then you've got the feds hunting you down and nobody gets away with it. So I cannot rob a bank. Yeah, I did watch Dexter. Worst ending. Although Game of Thrones certainly gave it a run for its money. Eve, thank you. I'm glad I did. So I'm excited to see Dexter come back, though, in a weird way. A million subs. Yeah, me too. I have not seen Wood Chipper Massacre, but that's a great title. I actually had a relative who was a bank robber who did get away with it for a while, but even in the end, he got caught. Hard Rock Zombies. Boy, I haven't thought of that in a long time. Toxic Zombies has not made it to the channel. Chris always wants to do Redneck Zombies, but I always say no. A mafia vampire movie like Innocent Blood. Yeah, like 50K subs is pretty awesome. Like, when I started, I didn't have any idea what we'd get. And it is a niche channel, especially because I cover so much weird stuff. Like, believe it or not, there are not a lot of people out there clamoring for a review of Dark Waters. I don't know why, but there just isn't. So to get to 50,000 covering the crap I cover is, sort of cool. This may come as a shock to you, but there aren't a ton of people going like, man, I really need a video review of Night Killer. Yes, I have seen the 1981 Possession, although probably not since like 1985. It's been a long time. Yeah, My Bloody Valentine. The original, I think I can get away with that one probably. Miguel, thank you. Oh, yeah, Silent Hill. Yeah, I like Silent Hill. I actually own... Like, those games have gotten very valuable, and I have like quite a few of them sealed because I ended up with like multiple copies. And yeah, it's that's a series like I played a lot of, and then I kind of stopped. Like, and I never got to play what was it, PT, the demo. I never got that because I didn't have a PS3 at the time. So I'd like to check that out at some point. Gygar, I would like to play games on Twitch. Tonight was almost over on Twitch because I don't have any audience over there. So I thought, I should bring them all to Twitch and grow a Twitch audience too. What does it matter if you hang out with me here or you hang out with me at Twitch? But I just didn't. So yeah, I would like to do it. Twitch is so weird though, like as a platform, like there's, I don't know. It's hard to get people to migrate from one platform to another. So I like my audience is here. So I just kind of, I don't know, I hang out here. Oh, Castle Freak. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be a fun one to do. Yeah. Silent Hill. Like Silent Hill's funny because, it's Konami and Konami's a disaster now. Well, the funny thing about Jeff about Twitch is that it's set up over there. It's not totally set up, but there is a guest appearance. If you subscribe during follow during a stream, there's an alert that's pretty entertaining. Somebody voices his approval.
Yeah. So full moon. Yeah. What's really funny is like, I'm a game collector, and during the pandemic, prices have just exploded on games. Like, this is not a good time to be collecting retro. James Earl Cash, of course. Yes. The plan is to do more streams here. This is the second one. I don't know how often to do them, so I've been trying to space them out. I think the next one will be around my birthday in the middle of October, and then we might do one like the night before Halloween, maybe. I don't know if people are free and want to do it. God, I love Ash versus Evil Dead. Like, I wish they got more seasons. Yeah, I don't even know what the last Konami game I bought was. Ander, I'm still here because I just can't shut up. Although I am getting tired. Yeah, we'll do some stuff over on Twitch. I just wasn't sure if people would come over there or want to do it. Singapore Sling. I have seen Singapore Sling. I do not own a copy. I wish I did because I'd love to do it. Hey, happy birthday, Sci-Fi Ninja Theater. Hot tub stream. I have a hot tub. I could do it. Don't tempt me. Hi, Brandon. You are late, but that's okay. You made it. I thought he was already in a hot tub. Yeah, Jean Rollin. Yeah, those films, those are ones I have to work up to. But yes, we'll be doing more Franco too. I just like the channel. When the channel started to grow, it was Italian, and I love the Italian horror, obviously. So it just made sense to kind of run with that. So I didn't mix in as much other Euro horror as I wanted. But at some point, I will have time to do a lot more of the other Euro horror stuff. Oh, Lex, you have a copy? Is it on disc? Oh, Army of Darkness. Man, Evil Dead tanked so bad, Paul. They've scared me off of Evil Dead movies. Kill List is really good, and Kill List was one that I almost did back in the first year of the channel, and I just never did. I should one of these days. Yep, Men Behind the Sun. Definitely love it. Do it one of these days when the Blu-ray finally comes out. Dead Snow. I like Dead Snow. Like it's a wild time. You'll be very happy, Blood Eagle, because there's one coming very soon. Very soon. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's coming. And it's not, yeah, I'm just going to not say. Lex, you don't even have to send it. If you have a way to rip it, you could just rip it for me. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I wonder how it would be to even do. Jeff, thank you for coming. Thank you for all the chats, man. It's great to see you, and I hope you get a good night's sleep. Joe Neal, yeah, I did it. I did a video on it, man. It's okay. I don't expect you to know all the videos I've done. Frankenstein's alright. I own a copy of that, and I watched it, and I don't remember a thing about it. The Witch is really good. Like, I like it. That's a weird movie that I like. Would you lend me your epic beard? Maybe. All right, guys. So everybody's getting tired, and I'm tired too. So I think I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. But I want to thank you all. Justin, first I got to do Justin's super chat. Can't stay, but here's $2 and a thumbs up. Well, thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming and hanging out. But yes, guys, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. It was great to hang out with you tonight. I was like home by myself, so this was perfect. It gave me people to talk to, and do cool stuff with. And we will do this again. And you guys make doing this fun, and you're why I do it. So thanks for hanging out with me. All right. You guys have a good night and be safe. And I will see you Wednesday.